George Bush sat there for 7 minutes while they read the sheet book.
Well, we always have weird conversations at the beginning of our live feed because I never know exactly when we're pushing live. So it's probably going to be that George Bush comment. People are going to be like, what?
When my dad told us the factories were closing in Flint, we knew it'd never be the same.
There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild. I am your host, Billy Ray Bruton. And with me for this read is our very own normal co-host. He's become normal at this point, Miguel Rodriguez. Miguel.
Abnormal co-host. Abnormal. Abby normal.
Tell me, Miguel, when did you first see The Terminator?
I first saw it, I think it was on some premium channel on cable at a neighbor's because we couldn't afford cable at the time. I was maybe 6. Like, I was very, very young.
And would you say that you saw it and loved it, or would you say it grew on you over the years?
Oh, I loved it so much. Yes, I always loved it. Yeah, I still love this one. It's still, I may be blaspheming, but I find it superior to Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, I think there are a lot of people who agree with you on that front. I don't think that's blasphemy.
Yes. It's so much better.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I actually don't like Terminator 2 that much.
Wow, we've gotten really divisive here right off the bat.
Yeah, it's escalated quickly.
If you haven't guessed yet, we are reading T3 Rise of the Machines.
The best.
That was a joke. We are reading The Terminator, James Cameron's The Terminator, and we are doing it for a super awesome charity called After School All Stars, which was founded by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator himself, and they partner with schools all across the country and provide free, comprehensive after-school programs to keep kids safe and keep them in school. And that's an awesome organization. We want you to donate to that organization. You can do that right now. You can click on the link that's in the description of this video you're watching right now, or you can go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com, click on the donate tab. It's going to take you directly to the After Schools All-Stars donation portal. You can make a donation directly to them. We hope you will do that. If you make a donation to them, take a screenshot of it, send it to us, and then at the end of the night, we will enter you into a drawing for a prize pack that will include some Terminator films on Blu-ray and a Scripts Gone Wild mug.
Oh,
those are so sexy.
Wow, you're sweetening the deal.
I mean, who needs the Blu-rays? But the Scripts Gone Wild mug is where it's at.
I, for one, do not have enough coffee mugs in my life.
Who does?
It'll hold your liquid, baby.
Even though we do require that if you get a mug from us, that you never put coffee in it, that you only put alcohol.
Booze. Yeah, I was gonna say those mugs are to drink while you watch the Blu-ray.
It could be an Irish coffee, but
we will allow Irish coffee as long as you use like actual booze and not Bailey's.
Yeah, a generous amount of booze. Yeah.
That's not real liquor.
I drink Bailey's from a shoe.
That sounds exciting.
The only way.
So yeah, please donate to After School All Stars. If it's $1, $5, $50, $1,000, whatever you want to throw at it, help Arnie's organization out. We're gonna be doing our best to pay him tribute tonight, and so pay tribute also with your money to After School All Stars. We'll give you a reminder in the middle of the read and at the end as well. And if you stumble on this read in a couple weeks, like a lot of people do, you can still donate. They will still gladly take your money, I am sure. So now I'm going to introduce our readers for the evening. We have Chad Michael Collins.
Hello.
Golf claps. Erin Cummings.
Hello. And I actually have to say this. It's nice that I'm playing Sarah because I had a double mastectomy after having breast cancer. And I decided once I recovered from my surgery that I was going to get this warrior tattoo. Yeah. In addition, I got tattooed on my right rib cage, Ripley, which is what I named my right breast. And I got tattooed on my left rib cage, Sarah, which is what I named my left breast. So in honor of Arnold Schwarzenegger's charity and my left breast, I'm happy to be reading the role of Sarah Connor tonight.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We also have Mr. Bechir Sylvain.
Hola. I'm just very happy to be here.
Edward Hong.
What's up? Thanks to Miguel for inviting me. This is going to be a great fun time.
Oh, that's right. You guys know each other. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Nick Crawford.
Good to see you.
Roll Tide. Erik Altemus.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Billy.
Absolutely. From Salt Lake City, Charla Bocchicchio.
You said it wrong, Billy.
How do I spell it? How do I say it?
Think Pinocchio. That's all I'm just gonna give you that hint.
Bocchicchio?
Yes.
Bocchicchio.
Rewind.
Bocchicchio.
Rewind. And from Salt Lake City, Charla Bocchicchio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Galen Howard.
Oh, hi.
Natalie Nicole Dressel.
Thanks, Billy Ray. It's an honor to be here.
Kate Harold. From West Virginia, Kate Harold.
Right on.
And Miguel Rodriguez.
Hi again.
Hi. So, for the folks at home who don't know how this works, Scripts Gone Wild is a drinking game. If any of our readers make a mistake, flub a line, do anything that we can construe as an error, they have to take a drink. That is their own personal penance for ruining the read. Not really.
Never.
We let our Twitter followers choose what we call social words. These are words that whenever the readers speak them in the script, everybody takes a drink. And tonight, whoa mama. The words tonight are Sarah and Terminator. So best of luck to everyone with those words.
I hope everybody has 911 on speed dial.
I hope no one has an early morning tomorrow. We also have what we call a finish your drink line chosen by our Patreon subscribers. We didn't let them choose this time because it was just so obvious. So whenever this word is said aloud in the script, everybody finishes whatever drink is in their hands, whether it is a fresh pour or a couple of sips. And that line tonight is, what does everyone think it is? That's for you guys, not for the people at home.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yes, I'll be back.
Right,
what the hell else was it going to be? People wanted Hasta La Vista, baby. I'm like, wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
Wrong movie, guys. Wrong movie. Well, before we jump right into this thing, which, given the two words, is going to be 6.5 hours long, does anyone have any questions? Okay. Well,
Why do you hate us?
It's not me, I assure you. It's Twitter that hates you.
Yes, no, but we knew that.
Here we go. It's now time for The Terminator by James Cameron with Gale Ann Hurd. Schoolyard, night. Gradually, the sound of distant traffic becomes audible. A low angle bounded on one side by a chain link fence and on the other side by the one-story public school buildings, spray can hieroglyphics, a Los Angeles public school in a blue-collar neighborhood, because in the 80s, Los Angeles schools were known for their graffiti. A trash dumpster looms at a low angle. A cat crosses frame. It freezes, alert, sensing something just beyond human perception. A sourceless wind rises, and with it a keening whine. Papers blow across the pavement. The cat yowls and hides under the dumpster. Windows rattle in their frames. The whine intensifies, accompanied now by a wash of frigid purple light. A concussion like a thunderclap right overhead blows in all the windows facing the yard. The cat, its eyes are wide as the glare dies. Electrical discharges arc from the dumpster to a water faucet and climb a drain pipe like blip, blip, blip. That's mine. A drain pipe like Jacob's ladder. In the schoolyard, the sound of stray electrical crackling subsides, and a frame comes to rest on the figure of a naked man. Oh, yay. Kneeling. Faced away in the previously empty yard, he stands slowly. The man is in his late 30s, tall and powerfully built, moving with graceful precision. Then they cast Michael Biehn. He is the Terminator. Oh, no, this is Arnold.
No, this is
I
Arnold.
fucked it up already. God damn it. I'm going to drink on that. He's the Terminator.
Yeah.
He glances down, taking calm inventory of himself, and notices that a fine white ash covers his skin. He brushes it unconcernedly as he walks toward the fence, scanning his surroundings. The Terminator approaches the schoolyard fence, beyond which is an embankment rolling down in darkness to the cityscape below. The night clouds are shot through with occasional flashes of lightning, presaging a thunderstorm. The Terminator stands, hands on hips in perfect symmetry, gazing down at the city. A beer bottle smashes on the ground at the playground. Its ex-owner and his two compatriots, youth gang members, lounging on the jungle gym of a deserted playground. They sport nondescript punk regalia. Those punk gangs. Torn t-shirts, fatigue pants, combat boots on high-top sneakers, and leather jackets. The leader notices something and sits up.
Hey, what's wrong with this picture?
Past the lounging toughs, Terminator walks naked into a pool of streetlight, striding purposely towards them. They slide from their perches and drop easily to the ground, liquid shadows.
Nice night for a walk, eh?
Terminator stops.
Nice night for a walk.
They surround him, all swagger and malicious good humor.
Watch day tomorrow, huh? Nothing clean, right?
Terminator eyes them without expression, unhurried, reptilian.
Nothing clean, right?
As a couple bricks short.
Terminator turns to the second punk, ignoring the others.
Your clothes, give them to me.
They exchange glances, dismayed.
Now.
Fuck you, asshole!
And now we take a drink for the late Bill Paxton.
Heck you, Bill Paxton.
Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Without warning, Terminator hammer punches him in the temple, flinging him with a clang into the jungle gym. He drops to the ground in a steel heap. The leader whips out a switchblade and slashes in one motion. Terminator catches the knife wielder's wrist in an inhuman grip, punches the leader with a pile driver force just below the breastbone. The knife clatters down. The punk's combat boots are on tiptoe, barely touching the ground. Terminator and their leader close together. The punk's eyes are wide, his veins distended with an agonizing pressure. Terminator jerks his fist back with a wet sound, and the other drops out of frame. The last tough is stumbling away, gaping with terror. He backs into a chain link fence, turns to run along it, and finds he's in the corner. Terminator takes a step towards him, his gaze ominous. The punk begins shaking, trippingly off his clothes. Strips off those clothes. Thunder peals overhead. Downtown, street alley, seedy apartments and storefronts. A mouth of a narrow alley lined with trash containers and fire escapes. From a recessed doorway, an angry, inarticulate drunkard's monologue rises occasionally above the rail sounds. The derelict is roused from his bittersweet stupor by a brilliant purple glare. A shockwave hurls trash into the air. Painted over windows shatter. Rats scurry, blinded. A figure drops into frame as if out of the sky and smacks the pavement with a muddy splash. The derelict, as he blinds at the fading glare, amazed. A naked man, compact and muscular, rises in a defensive crouch. Kyle Reese is 26, his face hard, eyes grim. Okay, that sounds more like Michael Biehn. A scar traverses one side of his face. Other scars from burns and bullets mar his hard, muscled body. Ooh. Electrical arcs lace back and forth between the fire escapes behind him. He spins, hearing a scream of animal agony. Reese lurches to his feet and sprints across the alley. Reese descends to the alley floor and crosses to the drunk huddled in a doorway. Reese crouches down as if to speak to the drunk.
Say, buddy, did you see a real bright light?
A brilliant white glare stabs into the alley mouth as an LAPD cruiser glides slowly by on the street. The searchlight illuminates the figure of Reese, crouching over the sprawled drunk, just pulling on the other's trousers. The cruiser chirps to a stop. The doors fly open and two cops leap out.
Hold it! Right there!
Reese hitches his pants and bolts like a shot. The cops draw their guns and race into the alley after him. Rushing with Reese along the narrow alley, he vaults a pile of tumbled trash cans, whips around a corner, leaps the hood of a parked car in the cross alley. Reese hits a chain link gate at a dead run, scrambles over it. The cops around the corner. A moment later, they separate. Reese runs full tilt, displaying incredible agility. Reese flashes, okay, not because he's naked, through intermittent cross lightning in the background. Another unit arrives out front and Reese melts back into the alley, only to see a cop around the corner behind him, sandwiched. Reese crashes into a steel door, rending the lock and vanishes into the darkness within. Reese finds himself among the display rack of a discount department store. A searchlight stabs in the front window as he dashes into the mail of aisles. Three cops enter behind him through the shattered door. He crab runs along moving shadows where flashlights quarter the darkness. He bolts the open space behind a display window, sees the outside searchlight sweep forward, and freezes. His feral face frozen among the smooth-featured, smiling mannequins. As the light passes, Reese silently moves on. The cop, passing the end of a long aisle background, while in the foreground a hand enters frame, removes a long overcoat from a hanger, and Reese does a fast crab walk across the aisles to melt into the other racks and shadows. Tracking with Reese as he rounds a corner on the run, still shrugging into his long coat, running smack into the first cop, gun aimed. Without slowing, Reese leaps forward, twisting in midair like a cat. The cop fires, misses, goes down under Reese's tackle, and they slide together on the polished floor. Before they even come to rest, Reese snatches the cop's gun, aiming it at the other's face two-handed.
What day is it? The date.
Thursday, May 12th.
What year?
A shot winds off the metal side of an escalator behind Reese's head. He vaults the escalator rail, leaving the amazed cop lying on the floor. Reese bounds up the frozen steps, pocketing the .38 police special in his coat. Cops dash through the maze of aisles, converging at the escalators. Whip panning with Reese as he hurtles between displays. He stops for a moment behind a rack of shoes, slaps one of a pair of tennis shoes, sole to sole against his bare foot. Too small. Another. Holding the shoe, he runs on. A door opens quietly, and Reese slips out. He moves like a panther along the narrow catwalk, tilted down to include the first LAPD cruiser parked at the mouth of the alley. Reese drops cat-like behind the unattended police car. Cautiously he opens the door of the cruiser, removes the riot gun and Ithaca pump model from the dash rack and slips it under the coat. Cradled in a vertical position, she shortened weapon is virtually invisible. He walks out onto the street and away, unhurriedly, an innocuous pedestrian soon lost in the night. Reese enters the telephone booth. Harsh light rakes across his face, outlining the long scar. He opens the directory and leafs through it. Reese's finger slides down a column, stops beside the following listings in the big metropolitan white pages. Connor, Sarah Ann. Connor, Sarah J. City Street, morning. A typical LA morning of diffuse sunlight and fucked up traffic. On a moped as she zips through traffic. Sarah Connor is 19, pretty in a flawed, accessible way. Only the 80s. Sarah maneuvers nimbly, apparently in a hurry. At Big Jeff's restaurant, Sarah buzzes into the parking lot of Big Jeff's family restaurant and changed her moped to the icon of Big Jeff himself. The fiberglass cherub holds up his mammoth hamburger in perpetual homage to whatever deity watches out for fat kids. Sarah removes a stack of college checkbooks from the luggage carrier and turns to go into the restaurant.
Watch this for me, Big Buns.
Sarah enters, crosses through the counter area amid the bustle of the lunch rush. She falls in briefly alongside Nancy, a plump, gum-chewing waitress who is hurriedly trying on her apron.
I'm late.
So am I.
Sarah bangs through the swinging staff door and approaches the time card rack. She inserts her card in the punch clock. The name on the card? Sarah Connor. The punch clock clunks loudly. On the locker door, it slams shut, revealing Sarah transformed into a Big Jeff's girl. Hair in a bun and a milkmaid uniform with a short, flared skirt, like a more wholesome Hooters. She ponders the absurdity of her reflection in the mirror, pinches her cheeks, here, and smiles vacuously.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'll be your waitress. I'm so fucking wholesome.
In the dining area, Sarah runs the gauntlet between tables, precariously balancing 2 full dinner plates on one arm and hand-carrying a third. She sidesteps a hyperactive kid bouncing along the aisle, a jump ball. Nancy squeezes past her, going the other way.
I'm in it.
So am I.
A customer tugs on her apron for attention, and she barely averts contributing the chili size to this wardrobe.
Honey, can I get that coffee now?
Yes, sir. Just a second.
She reaches her table after near collisions with a Mexican busboy and 2 teenage girls doing cheerleading routines in lockstep in a restaurant.
Who gets the burly beef?
I ordered the barbecue beef.
Customer 3, drink.
Someone's drinking.
Does mine come with fries?
He's got the barbecue beef. I've got a chili beef deluxe.
Okay, who gets the burly beef?
Miss, we're ready to order.
In the process of setting down all the plates, Sarah knocks over someone's water glass.
Oh, sorry. That's not real leather, is it?
Of course it wasn't. As she cleans up the spill, a kid at the next booth reaches over and dumps a scoop of ice cream into the tip pouch of Sarah's apron. She stares down at the mess melting over the hard-earned and sags with defeat. Nancy stops beside her to whisper.
Look at it this way. In 100 years, who's going to care?
Terminator crosses a small parking lot, approaching a nondescript station wagon. He punches in the side window, unlocks it, and gets in. With a blow from the heel of his hand, Terminator smashes loose the ignition assembly and strips the wire with a brutal twist of his fingers, touching the proper wires. Terminator walks past the long display window of an enormous pawn shop emporium now. Signs declare, among other things, guns and ammo in red block letters. Terminator passes the appliance section, and the pictures on a row of TV sets distort and break up sequentially as he walks by, returning to normal behind him. He enters the store. A glass countertop has an AR-180 assault rifle with scope, is laid beside a number of other guns, a Colt K model 45 ACP, a Smith & Wesson 38 4-inch.
The Remington 1100 auto loader.
Wide as the clerk who looks like a sick lizard, played by the late, great Dick Miller. Everybody drink to Dick Miller.
Dick Miller.
Paladin Paunchy takes the rifle from a wall rack. He lays it beside the arsenal of perfectly legal anti-human artillery already on the glass counter. Fuck the NRA. Terminator scans expressionlessly for additional selections.
Anything else?
A phase plasma pulse laser in the 40-watt range.
Just what you see, pal.
He indicates the display case of wall racks with a minimal gesture.
The Uzi 9mm.
Hey, you know your weapons, buddy.
Terminator examines each in turn, working the actions with curt, precise movements.
Any one of them's ideal for home defense. Which will it be?
Oh.
The clerk digs deep and finds a scrap of a smile.
Maybe I'll close early.
He turns around, fumbling in a drawer for the registration papers. Terminator picks up a box of shotgun shells.
There'll be a 15-day wait in the handguns, but you can take the rifles today if you...
He turns, seeing Terminator loading shells into the weapon.
Hey, you can't do that.
Wrong.
He raises the barrel and pulls the trigger. The gun thunders, and we lose Dick Miller in the movie. Gas station, phone booth. The beige station wagon pulls to a stop beside a single phone booth. The Terminator gets out, walks to the booth, and rapidly pulls its occupant out by his greasy t-shirt, flinging him backward into the parking lot. The guy is bear-like, slab-handed, but Terminator doesn't even glance as he steps in to take the man's place.
Hey, man.
In the phone booth, a woman's voice, a faint, reedy monologue issues from the dangling receiver. Terminator leaps rapidly through the directory. The Terminator's finger comes to rest beside a now familiar listing. Connor, Sarah. Kyle Reese's hands as they make the last few strokes with a hacksaw to sever the wooden stock from the riot gun. It clatters to the ground, leaving a short stump like a pistol grip. Reese hefts the weapon. He is crouched in an underground service tunnel behind a busy street. Shadows of people walking across grating in the sidewalk above him flicker past. He checks the gun's action carefully. He slips it under his overcoat where it hangs from a jerry-rigged sling. Reese emerges from a stairwell behind a service station, his overcoat done up to the top bottom. He walks through the sparse morning crowd on the cluttered commercial street. He is out of sync, a stranger in a strange land. He moves among the unconcerned pedestrians, cautious and feral. His eyes flick rapidly about. He moves forward purposefully. Suburban street. A suburban street with kids racing tricycles. The frame comprising a single house, toy-littered lawn and mailbox. It's a child's plastic truck. There is the sound of a car engine approaching, and the front of the beige station wagon appears, stopping at the curb. Its front tire crushes the toy like a bastard. Preceding him as he steps out of the car, pauses by the mailbox to check the name, and strides towards the house. A young boy playing in the driveway watches him pass. The boy's dog, a small terrier, growls low and mean, crouching back from Terminator. He rings the doorbell and waits, motionless. The door opens a few inches, held by a security chain, revealing a young, slightly overweight housewife.
Sarah Connor.
Drink.
Yes.
The security chain splinters, flying, breaks open, all that shit. The woman staggers back, staring in dumb amazement. Terminator draws the .45 smoothly from inside his jacket, cocks the inside or the slide. He fires. Low angle on Terminator, lowering the barrel. He methodically fires 4 more rounds into the body out of frame below, turns and walks away past the terrified child in the driveway. But he doesn't kill the child. That's something. Back at Big Jeff's, Sarah opens the swing door with her back, calling over her shoulder to the day manager.
I'm on break, Chuck. Carla's got my station.
As she approaches the locker room where the girls take their coffee breaks, the door bursts open and Nancy beckons to Sarah.
Hurry up! It's about you. I mean, sort of. Come on.
Nancy guides Sarah to the small black and white portable TV in the corner. 2 other girls, smoking cigarettes with their shoes off and nylon feet on the table, are already watching. One glances at Sarah.
You're gonna love this.
They huddle around the set.
And a police spokeswoman at the scene refused to speculate on a motive of the execution-style slaying of the Encino housewife. He did, however, say that an accurate description of the suspect had been compiled from several witnesses. Once again, Sarah Connor,
Drink.
35, mother of 2, brutally shot to death in her home this afternoon. In other late-breaking news, Teamster representation have issued a statement as the strike deadline rapidly approaches.
As the news grinds on, Sarah gazes at the screen. Nancy claps her on the shoulder, laughing.
You're dead, honey.
The health club. Oh, health clubs. Sunlight is dying when Sarah swings her moped to the curb in front of the Good Life Spa, a large, crowded health club. Music booms and masses of leotarded cellulite sway in close foreground as camera dollies along a row of panting, stretching women. God. In deep background, Sarah slips in through the door and waits against the wall while the human dynamo, Ginger Ventura, no relation to Jesse the Body, leads the class energetically. Ginger, Sarah's roommate, is a party stopper. Red-haired, athletic, sensuous as fuck. She's pretty enough when still, but stunning in motion, and she's in motion. Ginger yells commands and cheerfully dives into contortions to the beat of an R&B favorite. Marco, a handsome, well-defined guy wearing a tight staff t-shirt, strolls up for a drink at the water fountain next to Sarah.
I have seen you around. Aren't you Ginger's roommate?
Right. I'm Sarah.
Drink.
Yeah, right. I'm Marco.
The R&B favorite ends.
And 3 and 4. And that's it, ladies. Now, didn't that feel great?
The group collapses ensemble in a chorus of groans.
Let's think positive. Or next time, I will play the long version.
Ginger walks over to Sarah as the class disperses. Marco is leaning on the wall next to Sarah, who is enjoying the attention.
Yeah, really? Say something in Italian.
Before Marco can reply, Ginger pulls the front of his gym shorts out and peers down. She shakes her head.
You're wasting your time, kiddo. Let's go.
She grabs Sarah by the arm and pulls her out the door. Sarah catches a glimpse of Marco's expression over her shoulder as the door closes. The two girls, as they descend to the first floor and enter a hallway, Sarah is grinning with laughter.
I don't believe you did that.
Ginger is adjusting her ever-present portable cassette player at her hip. It's called a Walkman, people. She slips on the earphones as they walk along. Sarah feigns outrage.
I had him in the palm of my hand. He was just about to ask me out. I could tell.
That guy's a jerk. I did you a favor.
Yeah, I'll do the same for you next time, sometime.
Sarah laughs and claps her friend on the back. They turn into a door marked weight room. They're going to be friends forever. Nothing's ever going to happen to any of them. Glistening arms, legs, torsos merging, thank you, into biomechanical kinetic sculptures with the chrome steel levers and tubes, the crash and squill of metal against metal, two Conan-esque arms thrust upward, glistening. Ginger's boyfriend, Matt McAllister, the assistant manager of the club, strains out his last reps, bench pressing enormous weight on the weight machine. Despite his imposing appearance, Matt is one of the warmest people you've ever want to meet. His face is contorted, muscles nodding for the last push. He heaves it up with a guttural cry. Lowering the weights with a clang, Matt lies panting, arms dangling at his side, eyes closed. A pair of female legs appear.
What's this?
Matt opens his eyes.
You think somebody's going to do this for you? Look at those thighs. Pathetic. You haven't worked out your lats or abs since Wednesday.
Had a rough day, sweetheart?
Come here, wimp.
She leans down as he sits up, and they meet in a kiss that's bad for the other guy's discipline. Sarah waits until they break the clinch to speak.
Hi, Matt.
Matt looks backwards over the bench and replies upside down.
Hey, Sarah.
Frank.
Hi, babe.
Oh, yeah, Drake. Ginger pulls the gun on Matt's weights and reinserts it beneath the entire stack. The maximum weight.
All right, back to work, Bunky.
What a name. Ginger readjusts her headphones as the two girls walk away. Two weightlifters nearby look at each other, then at Matt.
Bonky?
Sarah lurches away from the curb on her moped, almost spilling Ginger, who is attempting to ride double. They swing out into a main thoroughfare and careen through the bumper-to-bumper traffic. Sarah maneuvers deftly through overloaded and unstable. Ginger doesn't know whether to laugh or scream at the near misses. She does both. Elsewhere, under an overpass, Reese sits in a car watching the powerful machines moving earth at an excavation site. He's in a late model, nondescript charcoal gray Ford LTD, one of a row of cars gathering dirt beside the construction site. Crab-armed backhoes and massive caterpillars roar through a curtain of dust under intense floodlights. A power shovel moves its great arm, lighting its own way with an arc light. He sits motionless in the dark now, waiting. The clock in the dash ticks quietly. He flips on the radio, a fatuous pop radio station. Reese finishes a magazine off the dirty floor, or fishes. God damn it. He flips the pages of Cosmopolitan. His head sags against the door. He gazes dully at the tracks of a passing caterpillar. They chew through the dirt. The roar and clatter of treads intensifies as his eyes close. Tight on a gleaming steel tread as it grinds through debris. The debris is ferroconcrete girders and jackstraw heaps of human bones burn black. We're in a melted ruin now. There is the sound of explosions, distant, and an intermittent electronic whine. Incredibly bright searchlights play over the ground, panning with the movement treads through twisted wreckage. The screen whites out with a blast. Very close as the debris clatters down, a helmet and snaps up into frame. The visor of the high-tech helmet has been shattered by the explosion. The wearer rips it off, revealing Reese minus his burn scar. Reese looks over his shoulder at his teammate, a girl of about 16, gaunt, dirty, heavily armed like himself, dolling as they start to belly crawl through the bones and wreckage. Reese looks up. Through spires of a collapsed building, a terrifying sphinx-like shape moves against the sky, obscured by dust and blinding sweeps of its searchlights. Though we see little, this is an HK hunter-killer mobile ground unit. Reese crawls, pacing the HK under and through, and elbows and knees past mounds of charred skulls. They pass the body of a child, a boy of about 10, center punched with a smacking hole. The boy clutches a rifle. More bodies, some in rags, some in uniforms like others. Women, old men, children, they're all dirty and gaunt, scabrous, and still bleeding. Reese scrabbles past a dark rat hole, and there are human rats in it. Soldiers in a nightmare war. Reese and his teammates stop behind a blasted wall, having outflanked the massive... Guys, it's just a lot of fucked up future shit. It's just a lot of fucked up future shit. It's that vision, fuck Skynet on the top of page 20. Reese's eyes open in a split second from his crazy future dream. He relaxes slowly, the voltage draining out of him. He reaches for the dangling ignition wires, starting the car. Lit by streetlights, the car moves away with its lights off and vanishes into the shadows. At Sarah's apartment, Sarah and Ginger are crammed into the tiny bathroom, becoming inextricably tangled in each other's cords as they blow dry, curl hair, and apply makeup. Ginger has her headphones inverted under her chin, but in place, and it's bouncing to music as she dries her hair. She is wearing a short kimono that reveals the greater part of her legs. Sarah is in a camisole. The phone rings, and Sarah goes out into the living room to get it.
Hello?
First, I'm going to rip the buttons off your blouse, one by one, then run my tongue along your neck, down to your bare, gleaming breasts.
Sarah cups her hand over the mouthpiece and calls out.
Ginger, it's Matt.
She resumes.
And then slowly pull your jeans off inch by inch and lick your belly in circles further and further down. And then I'll pull off your panties with my teeth.
Sarah's repressing her laughter.
Who is this?
Silence. Then Matt realizes to his horror who he's been talking to.
Oh my God, Sarah?
Drink.
Oh shit! Jesus! I'm sorry. I thought you were. Can I talk to Ginger?
Sure, Bunky.
As Ginger approaches, Sarah hands her the receiver and goes into the bedroom.
Oh.
First, I'm gonna rip the buttons off your blouse.
I mean, he called knowing he had a 50-50 shot of getting Sarah. I mean, Sarah picks up 4 blouses on hangers lying on the bed and goes back into the hallway. Ginger is still listening to Matt, nodding as Sarah enters and starts holding the blouses against herself one by one for Ginger's inspection.
What do you think?
Drink.
Oh, I said it.
Oh,
we didn't hear you. We didn't hear
you.
Great.
She holds up another one.
How about this?
Great.
You're a big help.
All right, the peach one.
I hate the peach one.
Don't wear the peach one.
Sarah gathers up the blouses and walks out.
This guy's probably a schmuck, and I don't care what I wear.
A couple of beats, and she's back in the doorway with a concerned expression.
You think the peach?
Mulholland House. An unmarked car with a clamp-on light flashing passes through the gates and down the winding driveway of a chic house off Mulholland. The car stops among several black and whites, and an ambulance cops with flashlights are combing the grounds as Lieutenant Ed Traxler, Homicide Division, gets out of the car. He strides towards the house. He's black, early 40s, solid. He chews gum like a maniac, a chain chewer, and he's not a smart cop. He's a wise one, rarer still. Traxler passes 2 uniformed cops at the door as he enters the exquisitely decorated home. He enters a quiet flurry of activity. Several detectives and a photographer prowl the room, taking evidence, taking pictures. In the center of the living room floor is the body of a young woman crumpled face down in a small pool of blood. Traxler glances up as he is joined by Detective Sergeant Vukovic. Vukovic is lean and very jaded.
Give me the short version.
6 shots at less than 10 feet. Weapon was a large caliber.
Oh, no
Traxler's
shit.
looking at the button. Yeah, go.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man, don't track it all over. It's unprofessional. Okay, let's see. Got a positive on her. Name's Sarah Connor.
Drink.
Divorced. Lives here by her.
Boy, that can't be right. That can't be right. That's the name of the one from the Valley Division this afternoon.
Vukovic slips something off his clipboard and hands it to the lieutenant.
Here's her driver's license.
Oh, God, you gotta be kidding me. News guys will be short stroking over this one. 1-day pattern killer.
I hate the weird ones.
In Sarah's apartment, Sarah poses with Ginger in front of the mirror. They are dressed, made up, hairstyled, and ready.
Better than mortal man deserves.
Sarah grins and goes into the other room. Sarah walks around the room, searching for something.
Ginger, have you seen Pugsley?
Ginger enters, stopping beside the phone answering machine.
Not lately. Did you check messages?
Well, I thought you did.
She checks under the couch, then behind the drapes. She bends down.
Come here, young man. Mind your mother.
Pugsley, as the green iguana cocks its head, blinking rapidly. Sarah, she has an iguana for a pet. That's cool. Sarah lifts the 3-foot-long lizard from his perch on the windowsill. Sarah drapes the lizard across the shoulders where it sits contentedly as she looks for her purse. Ginger has been rewinding the message tape. She punches play and a male voice is heard. Hi, Sarah. Stan Morsky. Something's come up and it looks like I won't be able to make it tonight. I'm really sorry. Call you in a day or so. I'm a douchebag. Sorry. Bye.
And drink.
That bum. So what if he has a Porsche? He can't treat you like that. It's Friday night, for Christ's sake.
I'll live.
I'll break his kneecaps.
And she does. Sarah resignedly slips Pugsley off her shoulders.
You still love me, don't you, Pugsley?
He gives the complacent reptile a kiss on its blunt snout.
God, nauseating. Really disgusting.
I've dated worse. Pugsley is munching from a bowl of lettuce in a terrarium with a beware of dog sign taped on the side. Sarah, now in blue jeans, heads for the front door donning a down jacket.
I'm going to a movie, kiddo. See ya. You and Matt have a good time.
We will, kiddo.
Sarah yanks open the outside door and gasps, startled by a tall, powerful figure.
Damn it, Matt!
She punches him on the arm as she goes out. Take that. Parking garage. Sarah is a small figure in the shadowed, echoing garage of her building. She unchains her moped, senses something. There is no movement for the length of the garage. She's inexplicably nervous, and she stows the chain and starts the bike. It whines reassuringly. Sarah jumps on and whirs out of the garage. A beat. Then, from the inky shadows of a stall nearby, the gray Ford LTD rolls forward, turns, and follows her. Division headquarters. Traxler and Vukovic pass through a group of reporters, mostly newspaper stingers out there. There's also one bored local TV minicam crew.
Lieutenant, are you aware that these two killings occurred in the same order as their listings in the phone book?
No comment.
They shut their door. In the office.
That stuff's 2 hours cold.
I know.
I put a cigarette out in it.
Did you reach the next girl yet?
No, keep getting an answering machine.
Send a unit.
I sent a unit. No answer to door, and the apartment manager's out.
Call her.
I just called.
Call her again.
Ugh.
Vukovic picks up the phone and begins to dial her number as Traxler sets down the coffee cup, unwraps a stick of gum, and pops it in his mouth.
You got a cigarette?
Sarah's apartment. Connected to the answering machine, the outgoing message triggers after the second ring.
Hi there. I fooled you. You're talking to a machine, but don't be shy. It's okay. Machines need love too. So talk to it, and Ginger, that's me, or Sarah will get back to you. Wait for the beep.
Right. As the message plays, camera dollies off the phone machine and down the corridor of the dark apartment. As the bedroom door draws near, Ginger's recorded voice fades and is superseded by cries and moans. Full shot, framed against the streetlight curtains, Ginger and Matt form a beautiful tableau of lovemaking in silhouette. Their perfect bodies glisten with backlight as they strain in passion. Revealing that Ginger is wearing her earphones, Matt reaches out to the night table and thumbs the volume higher. Ginger moans louder, apparently enjoying his sure touch on her volume control. Traxler's office.
Same shit.
I can hear it now. It's going to be a goddamn thumper killer.
I hate the press cases, especially the weird press cases. Where you going?
To make a statement. Maybe the Jackals can help us out for once.
He looks at his watch and straightens his tie.
Hey, if they could get this on the 2 by 11, she may just call us. How do I look?
Like shit, boss.
Your
Traxler
mama.
goes Traxler goes out and the minicam light hits him as the door closes. In the pizza parlor, tied on a TV screen, a newscast in progress.
Anchorman drink.
Is that still me?
This just in. Police have announced the name of the victim in the second of 2 execution-style murders which took place today.
Sarah's watching the TV.
Incredibly, the names of the 2 victims are virtually identical. 2 hours ago, 35-year-old Sarah Ann Connor was pronounced dead at the scene in her secluded home in Mahon Drive. An Encino housewife, Sarah Louise Connor, was slain by a lone gunman earlier today in her home.
The customer gestures for the bartender's attention.
Hey, can we change this and catch the ball scores?
Sure.
Sarah leaps half over the bar, startling everyone.
Police are refusing to speculate on the apparent similarity between these shooting deaths, and no other connection between the 2 victims has been established as of yet. We'll have more on this late-breaking story as it comes in. On a lighter note, there was cause for celebration at the LA Zoo today as their first test tube stork.
I want to know the rest of that story. What happened?
I know.
The stork died. Sorry.
Sarah's freaked out now. She goes into one of the she goes to one of the phone booths and starts flipping through to check where her name is in the phone booth. Then she goes into the restroom and splashes water on her face. She's really freaking out now, guys. And then she walks stiffly back to the payphone after that. Exits the pizza place in the sparse crowd on the sidewalk as she passes a figure leaning against the wall just outside. The man turns his head to watch her. It is Reese, his gaze impassive. He is motionless, sinister in his long coat. Sarah shudders. She walks on quickly. They do like this walking dance. She walks. He walks. We're watching both of them walk. Reese approaches. Her knuckles clench wide as he reaches the entrance and walks by unhurriedly without a glance inside. She's inside Stoker's now, which is a bar, a club, where hip people go to get down. It is a new wave dance club. Canned music cranked up, stroboscopic lighting and jostling bodies, dressed from trendy to bizarre. The motif seems to be deco-heavy industry. Sarah approaches the glazy-eyed girl, stamping hands at the door.
Is there a phone here?
He nods.
Girl, drink.
Is there a girl?
Oh, where's your phone? Is it in the back? $4.50? Is that what I have to pay?
Sarah pays and moves past before the girl can stamp her hand. Sarah pushes through the unruly throng and makes her way to a payphone near the car and back. The bar could have a car in it. It's LA. Her hands are trembling as she drops a dime in the payphone and dials.
You have reached the Los Angeles Police Department emergency number. All lines are busy. If you need a police car sent out to you, please stay on the line.
Sarah holds the receiver pressed to her ear, glancing around, fear feeding on frustration. At Sarah's apartment building, an LAPD black and white sits at the curb in front of Sarah's building with two cops inside drinking coffee. Through the open window, we hear the dispatcher's voice on the radio.
211 in progress at liquor store located at corner of 3rd and Tamarack. One suspect believed to be armed.
The car pulls out with lights and siren on. A moment later, Terminator rounds the corner of the building and climbs the stairs to the entryway. He surveys the bank of call buttons, then turns to consider the barred security gate. Ginger tries her kimono on and, leaving Matt in a dead sleep, pads through the dark apartment, down the hall past the phone with Vukovic's message, through the dark living room. She has her portable cassette Walkman in the pocket of her robe and bops to herself in the silent gloom as she enters the kitchen. When she opens the refrigerator to remove snack fixins, the light briefly illuminates the kitchen, and in that moment, something moves. Ginger backs towards the counter with her arms full of snack stuff. A sudden crash, a flurry of motion behind her. She spins, dropping half her load. Ginger fumbles for the light switch, revealing Pugsley sitting there, blinking innocently among overturned spice bottles on the countertop.
Shoo, go on. I'll make a belt out of you.
Pugsley disappears into a large fern by the window, and Ginger sets about her task, slathering crunchy peanut butter on stalks of celery. Matt, as rustling curtains play patterns of streetlights over his sleeping face. The balcony is empty and the sliding door is open. Matt, his eyes open at the sound of a quiet repeat clicking. Past Matt, as the 5-inch blade of an industrial razor knife reaches full extension in Terminator's hands right above him. It slashes viciously downward. Matt rolls and the pillow is split open where his throat had been.
Whoa!
Just like Joey Lawrence. Terminator catches him by the hair and slashes down again. Matt grabs his wrist in both hands. The enormous muscles of his arms, which seem capable of bench pressing a Chrysler, strain and knot against the pressure of the killer's single arm, and still the blade moves closer to his throat. With a final heave, Matt deflects the down pressure sideways, and the blade snaps with a clink against the headboard. Matt rolls off the bed, spins, and slams his fists together into Terminator's temple. He picks up a brass deco lamp and brings it down with piledriver force. Perturbed, Terminator knocks the lamp away and hurls Matt over the bed. Matt crashes through the glass doors and slams against the balcony railing. Oblivious to the noise, Ginger croons in rock and roll ecstasy, singing to a celery stalk as if it were a microphone. Matt heaves himself up, his powerful body gleaming with sweat, and hurls himself upon the intruder. The Titans crash into a dresser, reducing it to kindling, and then into the closet door, exploding the full-length mirror. Terminator places one hand on either side of Matt's barrel chest, sinks his fingers into his flesh, an inhuman grip. Matt is raised off the floor, contorted in agony above the other's head. Ginger returns from the kitchen with a plate full of celery stalks and a glass of milk, some final meal. Passes the closed bedroom door and stops as Ginger pauses to set the plate on top of the glass, freeing one hand to open the door. An explosion of splinters in close foreground as the shake smashes through the door right in front of her. Matt's body propelled halfway through the door by enormous force. Ginger shrieks and leaps back, flinging milk all into the air. The door begins to open, but the pressure of Matt's body creates resistance. Ginger screams and backs away. The door is wrenched open and Terminator steps through with a massive 45 drawn. Ginger, the walls blur by as she runs. The pistol rises into frame, aligning with his eyes. Boom! Ginger, as the bullet punches into her shoulder, pitching her on her face outside the bathroom door. She crawls forward, gasping, drowning. The implacable figure looms behind her, implacable. Her expression is agony and reeling, nauseating terror and incomprehension. Why am I suddenly dying? Her eyes roll, showing the whites like a horse tethered in a burning stable.
What?
Wow.
Jesus.
Ginger scrambles.
Really descriptive.
The top floor as she pulls herself into the bathroom. She clutches the rim of a toilet. What a way to go. The Terminator, as she stands behind her, pan up, offer. He takes aim and empties the clip. He calmly reloads. The telephone rings loudly in the ensuing silence. Terminator spins, drawing an instantaneous bead of the source of the sound, but doesn't fire.
Hi there. Fooled you. You're talking to a machine. But don't be shy. It's okay. Machines need love too. So talk to it, and Ginger, that's me, or Sarah, we'll get back to you. Wait for the beep.
There's a loud tone.
Ginger, this is Sarah.
Terminator's head snaps around and freezes, listening.
I'm in this place called Stoker's on Pico, but I'm too scared to leave. I'm really scared, kiddo. I think somebody's after me, and I sure hope you play this soon because I need you and Matt to come pick me up. The police keep transferring me around, but I'm going to try them again. The number here is 555-9175. Call me, kiddo. I need you. It's Stoker's on Pico. Bye.
That's now a Shakey's. Terminator is rapidly and methodically rifling the contents of Sarah's small desk. Sirens wail, approaching. He picks up a small card. It is Sarah's college ID card, complete with a photo of her. Terminator's eyes as he tosses the card down after a fraction of a second scan. Picks up something else. Sarah's address book. Terminator pockets this and slips out the balcony door, climbing over the railing. He is gone. At Stoker's, Sarah is huddled back to the wall, half shouting above the music.
Look, Lieutenant, Traxler, don't put me on hold and don't transfer me to another apartment.
I won't. Now just relax. Where are you? Yeah, I know it. On Pico.
So, like, where is
Sarah?
she?
Are you still there, Sarah?
Terminator got her.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
Terminator got Erin. We lost Erin for a second. Okay.
Oh no, Erin.
Charla, pick up Sarah until Erin returns.
Yes, we are. Where are we? Yes, but I don't want to leave. I think this guy's following me.
All right, Miss Connor, listen carefully. Like, you're in a public place. You be still till we get there. Stay visible. Don't go outside or in the restroom. I'll be there in a few minutes.
He hangs up and grabs his coat, motioning to Vukovic.
Let's go. Let's roll.
Sarah takes a seat at a booth near the bar. She looks at her watch and glances around. The beige station wagon hurtles along an empty street. Streetlights glare slashes across Terminator's face in flaring pulses. Traxler draws his .38 special and checks the load. Vukovic is driving.
Let's see how this guy likes playing hardball.
At Stoker's, Sarah turns, catching a glimpse of herself in the mirror behind the bar. Reflected in the mirror she is, and in the foreground, a mirror at the bar looks up from the beer straight into her eyes. It is Reese. He gazes at her coolly for a moment, then glances away. Sarah feeling trapped, frantic. The Terminator walks in. He pushes past the cashier. A large bouncer puts the arm on him, and Terminator removes his hand easily, crushing it. The bouncer staggers back in pain as Terminator moves into the crowd. He crosses the dance floor, scanning, pushing people aside like a bulldozer, leaving a wake of outrage. Reese, as he mechanically raises his beer, his knuckles are white. He slowly undoes the top button of his overcoat. There is a glint of metal in the shadows within. Terminator spots Sarah through the jostling crowd and moves towards her. Reese turns on his bar stool. Reese's hand sliding slowly along polished steel, a caress. His finger slips through the trigger guard of the riot gun. A figure stops beside Sarah's booth. She looks up. Terminator stands motionless for a beat. The 45 is out and cocked and aimed directly at camera, almost in one motion. The bore seems enormous. Sarah over the gun barrel. Her eyes are wide. We hold a beat like a frozen slice of nightmare. Reese, as he whips the riot gun to a hip-firing position, his overcoat falling back with a snap. He fires on Terminator as the shotgun blast cuts his arm, and he fires
Ooh,
simultaneously. Sarah screams as the 45-round blows stuffing out of the booth seat inches from her face. Reese is stroking up another shell as Terminator half rises from the booth. Over Reese's shoulder as he fires, cocks the slide, fires again, advancing on Sarah's booth. Terminator is blown backwards over a divider, crashing through the glasses and pitchers of beer on the table opposite and onto the floor. Sarah is screaming, scrunched down in the booth. Terminator is lying on his back at the feet of a table full of drunk patrons. He has 2 rifled 12-gauge slugs in his chest and 1 in the arm. The customers are frozen in the weird tableau, cowering, gaping. Sarah stops screaming. Reese stands motionless, gun aimed. In the sudden silence, the sound of him cocking a shotgun is abnormally loud. On Terminator, very still, though he smoothly rolls to a crouch and slips the Uzi machine pistol from beneath his overcoat, where it has been hanging on a shoulder strap. It doesn't seem too impaired as he swings around to fire. Reese rolls like a cat and comes up firing. A burst from the Uzi takes the bar where he stood. An orgy of shattering glass. Total pandemonium. Several angles of patrons of the bar run. Scream or die for cover depending upon their level of intelligence. Reese fires. Fires again. Tables crash over. A window is blown. A table candle rolls into a pool of high-proof alcohol behind the bar. It ignites with a whoosh. Sarah spins out of her seat and runs for the front door. A running patron pitches forward into Sarah as he catches a burst of 9mm fire meant for her. She trips and falls. Terminator advances. She scrambles to rise, buffeted in the stampeding crowd. Reese is reloading. Tied on Terminator moving forward, an island of slow, precise movement amid the confusion. He drops a spent clip, reaches for another with his bloody hand and slams it in. The crowd parts. He sees Sarah, a clear shot. Suddenly Reese appears behind him, vaulting a row of booths. At point-blank range, he unloads the shotgun into Terminator. Terminator crashes backwards through 2 tables and a plate glass window into the street. The roaring fire behind the bar is spreading very quickly, and the air is thick with smoke. Reese tosses the Uzi, for which he has no ammo, into the fire. He hauls the dead man off Sarah and reaches for her. Tied on Sarah, shrieking away from Reese, hysterical.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. He looks where he is pointing. Terminator is rising steadily to his feet. Shattering glass rains from him, except where it sticks to his blood-drenched shirt and coat. Terminator, as he slowly looks up, his eyes riveting straight into the camera. Sarah feeling a lightning bolt of terror greater than she could ever imagine as the cold gaze fixes on her.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Sorry, guys.
There we go. Terminator, as he clambers back through the window and starts through the burning building. Reese runs, dragging Sarah with him toward the back. Terminator crashes through the wreckage and the swirling smoke, hurling burning tables out of his way. Following Reese and Sarah running headlong through the cluttered kitchen down a narrow back hallway, Sarah stumbles and Reese brutally pulls her to her feet without slowing. He hits a closed door which crashes open, hauls Sarah through it into another corridor, slams and bolt latches it. An instant later, an impact from the far wall tears the latch screws half out of the wall. They run on. Terminator takes a step back from the closed door and slams into it again. It starts to give way. Reese and Sarah pelt down the narrow corridor, flying out the outside door and spin out into the alley. Tied on the far end, it splinters open. A Terminator sprints down the corridor into the alley. Traxler's playing car rides, slowing to a stop on the glass-littered street in front of the blazing building. He leaps out, Vukovic right behind him.
What the fuck is going on?
2 LAPD units ride right behind them. Traxler motions to the nearest one.
Mute drink.
Drink!
Cover the alley in the back.
He hits for the Inferno and a run. Dolling with Reese and Sarah as they run through the dark alley. Sarah stumbles over trash cans. Reese pulls her along mercilessly. Behind the Terminator is moving with inhuman speed, bounding like a panther, leaping trash cans and other obstacles, just like he did in Kindergarten Cop. We know this is Terminator's POV because Sarah and Reese are just ahead of us, but the image is bizarre, alien, bright and hyper-real, suggesting infrared. The margins of the frame are crammed with columns of CRT-type characters, columns of numbers and acronyms. The data changes rapidly. There is no doubt that we are seeing as a machine would see. Reese and Sarah turn a corner by caroming off the wall without slowing and pelt down a narrower alley. This one is lined with a row of parked cars that connects to the street. There is little room to run. Reese is reloading on the run, dropping shells, low angle, ahead of the fleeing pair as they reach the last car. Reese shoves Sarah hard, pitching her into the face in this pavement. He flings open the car door, a shield, drops to the ground, fires into the gas tank of a car further back in the road just before Terminator reaches it. The car explodes, an inferno funnel between the enclosing walls. Terminator, as he slides to a stop, cut off by the wall of frame. Reese doesn't waste any time stuffing Sarah into the car, climbing in after her, twist 2 wires together, and we recognize it as the stolen gray Ford LTD. The engine catches. They take off, y'all. They're just running away. It's a big chase. Terminator's after him. Guess what? He didn't get him. He don't get him. Now we're in the street with Traxler, the gathering minions of the law, the burning building, and arriving fire truck, shoots through a red light and continues to accelerate on Traxler as he runs to his car, exhorting the nearby LAPD guys to follow suit.
Go! He's got her! Go!
Respawn Olympic, Gray Ford LTD has hostage, repeat.
They keep on chasing. Sarah's in shot, paralyzed, face bloodless.
Hold on.
Chase. Reese drives with total nerveless absorption, with occasional glances at Sarah. He speaks to her in a clipped military voice.
Are you injured? Are you shot?
No response. He reaches over and runs his hand over her arms, legs, chest. Sarah flinches. She feels the blind panic boiling up within her. She pushes his hand away and opens the door. Reese slams her back in her seat and slaps her hard as shit.
Do exactly what I say. Exactly. Don't move unless I say. Don't make a sound unless I say. Do you understand?
As he speaks, he is locking the door and fastening Sarah's seatbelt over her, clenching it very tightly, like you would for a child.
Do you understand?
Yes. Don't hurt me.
I'm here to help you. Reese, Sergeant, TechCom, DN 38416.
Sarah's numbly in his outstretched hand. With zero strength, she automatically returns his handshake.
Assigned to protect you. You've been targeted for termination.
The walls of a narrow alley, inky black, frame a police cruiser parked on the street beyond. Firelight from the back of Stoker's lights the street garishly. A young cop stands beside the car. We're going to call him Carl. Talking via radio with the mic cord pulled through the side window. Carl speaks with a distinctive twang, a displaced southerner.
I don't know. It looks like it might spread to this furniture warehouse across the alley. The paint in the walls starting to blister up. Better get another truck around to this side. 1L19 out.
Terminator silhouette emerges from the blackness and strides purposely towards the cop. The officer whirls and reaches for his gun, but Terminator flings him brutally into the side of the car, steps over and opens the door. He slides behind the wheel, slips the squad car into gear, and pulls into accelerating hard. Sarah is slumped way down in the seat of Reese's car, turned away from the window, trying not to see the landscape reeling outside.
Dave, I haven't done anything.
No, but you will. It's very important that you live.
I can't believe this is happening. How could that man get up after you?
Not a man, a Terminator.
Drink.
Cyberdyne Systems, model 101.
Terminator drives expressionlessly, monitoring the babble from Central Dispatch. He hears his number.
Suspect vehicle sighted on motor at Pico, southbound. Units 1A21 and 1A7. Attempt to intercept. 1L19. Come in.
Terminator picks up the mic. He speaks in a chilling simulation of the young cop's southern twang.
This is 1L19, westbound on Olympic approaching Overland.
Chilling. Back in the car.
Sheen, you mean like what, a robot?
Not a robot. Cyborg. Cybernetic organism.
They have to yell over the roar of her hair through the broken windshield.
But he was bleeding.
At that moment, a blinding light sears onto them. Reese looks over his left shoulder and sees a CHP cruiser coming alongside, spotlight aimed.
Just a second. Keep your head down.
A second police cruiser falls behind Reese. He cranks the wheel, slams the first black and white. It skids, swapping ends, goes to a newsstand and hits a parked taxi. Out of action. Reese slides into an alley, the other cruiser right on him. The two cars run the alley like a slalom, scraping the walls and dodging dumpsters. Reese clears a large construction dumpster, locks up the brakes, and the cop overtakes, and Reese slides right onto the lifting forks of a trash truck. The Hispanic truck operator stops the rising forks. The impaled car is a foot in the air, wheels spinning as Reese's sedan vanishes. Reese is ultra alert, cruising cautiously.
That's the only character I relate to, by the way, is the Hispanic truck operator.
They knew what they were doing.
All right, listen. The Terminator's an infiltration.
Drink.
Part man, part machine. Underneath, it's a combat chassis, hyperalloy, fully armored, very tough.
Reese's LTD glides into a main drag, very subdued. He turns the lights on and blends with traffic. An LAPD cruiser crosses laterally in the distance, lights flashing.
But outside, it's living human tissue, flesh, skin, hair, blood, grown for the cyborgs.
Look, Reese, I know you want to help, but...
Pay attention. The 600 series had rubber skin. We spotted them easy, but these are new. They look human. Sweat, bad breath, everything. Very hard to spot. I had to wait till he moved on you before I could zero him.
Hey, I'm not stupid, you know. They haven't built anything like that yet.
No, not yet. Not for about 40 years.
What? Reese is driving sedately for a low profile, but his eyes rove constantly, searching for a place to ditch the car. Sarah's eyes are alert as well, and her tone becomes a bit too cool.
So you're saying it's from the future. Is that right?
One possible future. From your point of view, I don't know the tech stuff.
And you're from the future too.
Right.
Stop at a red light.
Right.
Like a shot, she unlatches the seatbelt, pulls the door lock, and has the door half open before Reese can react. He catches her arm and hauls her strugglingly back into the car. Sarah sinks her teeth into his hand with all her strength. His grip doesn't slacken. Slowly, without releasing her, he reaches across her with the other hand and shuts the door. His face shows no reaction. Sarah draws back and stares at the blood running down his arm from the bite, then at his grim, scarred face. The lights turn green and Reese drives on. Sarah tastes blood and wipes her mouth.
Cyborgs don't feel pain. I do. Don't do that again.
Just let me go.
Listen, understand, that Terminator
Greg
is out there. It can't be reasoned with. It can't be bargained with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead.
Can you stop it?
Maybe. With these weapons, I don't know.
Terminator searches. An LAPD cruiser moves along the dark street, searchlight sweeping over the parked cars. It passes a gray LTD with a shattered window, flicks back. The car is empty. Reese and Sarah are crawling behind a row of other cars. He has a firearm hold on her. He has a firm hold of her arm, but she seems to be cooperating. They approach the door of a late model blue Eldorado, which has been left with its window partway down. He unlocks it and they slip inside, tied on Terminator through the windshield of the black and white.
Suspect vehicle located at Cedar and Glen Haven.
As Terminator's cruiser slows in a radical turn and roars off in the opposite direction, Reese uses the butt of the shotgun to smash loose the ignition assembly. He begins working on the wires of a car. A police cruiser approaches, moving slowly between the rows of cars. Reese grabs Sarah and pulls her down to huddle below. A moment later, a spotlight flashes across the seats above them.
Reese, why me? What does it want?
They are lying very close, a forced intimacy. Reese's voice is an urgent whisper, almost in her ear. A cruiser passes so close they can hear its radio clearly.
There's so much to tell.
Okay, to start at the beginning.
There was a war a few years from now. Nuclear war, the whole thing. All this, everything is gone. Just gone. There were survivors here, there. Nobody knew who started it. It was the machines.
I don't understand.
Defense network computer, new, powerful, hooked into everything, trusted to run it all. They say it got smart, a new order of intelligence. Then it saw all people as a threat, not just the ones from the other side, decided our fate in a microsecond. Extermination.
Reese pauses and we continues. It's less like a military briefing, quieter.
Didn't see the war. I was born after, in the ruins. Grew up there, starving, hidden from the HKs.
The what?
Hunter killers, patrol machines, built in automated factories. Most of us were rounded up, put in camps for orderly disposal.
He pushes up the sleeve of his jacket and shows her a 10-digit number etched on the skin of his forearm. Beneath the numbers is a pattern of lines like the automatic pricing marks on product packages.
Burned in by laser scan. Some of us were kept alive to work, loading bodies. The disposal units ran day and night. We were that close to going out forever. But there was one man who taught us to fight, to storm the wire on the camps, to smash those metal motherfuckers into junk. He turned it around. He brought us back from the brink. His name is Connor. John Connor. Your son, Sarah. Your unborn son.
That's a lot to unpack. The Eldorado, the nose of Terminator's cruiser, appears behind it, moving slowly. Past the back of the Eldorado as Terminator cruises by, the tailpipe puffs quietly. Terminator's head snaps around. His eyes lock on Reese's car. He reaches for his shotgun. Reese's head jerks up, looking in the mirror. He sees Terminator about to fire, but ducks, and the rear window is blown in, showering them with glass. He slams the car in gear, and the front tire spins, smoking as it launches forward. Reese and Terminator race alongside opposite sides of a row of cars approaching the exit. The cruiser pulls ahead and closes diagonally as they clear the last car. Reese sees the other shotgun leveled. He ducks, steering blind, keeps it floored, and the windshield and side window explode inward. This is more chasing, guys, and shooting and chasing and shooting and chasing. El Dorado, Reese is feeding his last 2 shells into the riot gun.
Steer!
Holding the gun in both hands, he leans out the window, still keeping the throttle mashed down. Sarah grabs the wheel, fighting to control the car. Moving with the El Dorado, looking back as Reese aims the shotgun, buffeted by the windstream. Terminator's car overtakes rapidly.
Reese!
They approach an intersection, red light their way, and a tractor-trailer car carrier entering crosswise. Past the Terminator, his shotgun aimed as he comes alongside. Sarah grabs the shift lever and slams it in reverse. Now they're going reverse, y'all. They're chasing in reverse. There's a lot of chasing. There's a lot of chasing. And then the cyborg has vanished, and now we're back at Traxler's office. Sarah, huddled in a blanket. Oh, yeah, this is where the cops pull him over. The car crashes, and they get out, and the cops are like, hey, you're coming with us because you just probably killed a bunch of people. Now we're at Traxler's office. Sarah, huddled in a blanket, is sitting on a bench opposite Traxler's desk, motionless. Her eyes are fixed on the middle distance. She's been crying. Now she's emptied out. The door opens. At the sound of the latch, Sarah jerks as if struck and cringes involuntarily. Traxler enters with Vukovic and Dr. Peter Silberman, a criminal psychologist. Silberman is smooth of skin and manner, young, ambitious, but is for some reason played by one of the middle-aged actors from the Golden Girls in the movie. Earl Bowen. I can't believe I just remembered his name. He is enthusiastic about the workings of the human psyche, as emotionally involved as someone pulling the wings off a fly. Traxler sits beside Sarah and hands her a cup of coffee. He puts a paternal arm around her shoulders.
Here, drink some of this.
Lieutenant, are you sure it's them? Maybe I should see the bodies.
They've already been identified. There's no doubt.
Oh, God. Ginger. Oh, kiddo, I'm so sorry.
Traxler takes the coffee cup from her as her arms sag and it starts to spill.
Sarah?
Oh, drink.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Damn it.
Sarah. This is Dr. Silverman. I'd like you to tell him everything Reese said to you. Do you feel up to it?
So, you're a doctor?
A criminal psychologist.
Is Reese crazy?
That's what we're going to find out.
The hotel room. The room costs $5 a night, and that's steep, but the fire escape outside the window adds an element of strategic value. A silhouette slips in through the window and clicks on the single bare light bulb. It's Terminator, and he's a mess. Bloody scarecrow with bullet wounds in the stomach, chest, shoulder, and right wrist, just like the movie Predator. Terminator, as he sits at a ratty folding table under the light, his eyebrows are singed off, left eye glistening with embedded glass shards. Before him on the table is an array of small tools. He removes the charred remains of his jacket and props one elbow on the table. He looks at his non-functional right arm and examines it. He picks up the X-Acto-type knife and cuts deeply into the skin of his forearm. His expression is one of mild concentration. Pulls back a large flap of skin to reveal a complex trunk of sheathed cables and hydraulics. They slide as he moves his fingers. He uses a rag to wipe away the blood. With small screwdrivers, he begins to patiently disassemble the damaged mechanism around the 12-gauge hit, just like Johnny 5 in Short Circuit. At the Division H interrogation room, Johnny 5. The room is small. There's only a table and 2 chairs. Reese, his arms handcuffed behind him, sits opposite Dr. Silberman. Behind Silberman is a large mirror. A detective leans against the wall.
So, you're a soldier fighting for whom?
With the 132nd under Perry from 21 to 27.
The year 2027?
That's right.
It's fucking great.
Then I was assigned recon, security, last 2 years, under John Connor.
And who was the enemy?
Skynet.
Boo, Skynet!
A computer defense system built for SAC NORAD by Cyberdyne Systems, a modified series, 4800.
I see. And this computer thinks it can win by killing the mother of its enemy, killing him, in effect, before he is even conceived? A sort of retroactive abortion?
Yes.
That Silverman just cracks me up. He had this guy in here last week who set his Afghan on fire, screwed it first, then set it on.
Shut up!
Oh, all right.
It had no choice. The defensive grid was smashed. We'd taken the mainframes. We'd won. Taking out Connor then would make no difference. Skynet had to wipe out his entire existence. We captured the lab complex, found the whatever it was called, the time displacement equipment. The Terminator had already gone through. They sent 2 of us to intercept, then zeroed the whole place. Sumner didn't make it.
Then how are you supposed to get back?
Can't. Nobody goes home. Nobody else comes through. It's just him and me.
Back to the hotel room. Terminator's still fixing himself, y'all. He's doing all sorts of fixing, but I do like this one line. Terminator contemplating his reflection in the mirror. Favoring his right profile, he looks unhurt, though a bit gaunt and pale. When has Arnold Schwarzenegger ever looked gaunt and pale? Okay. Traxler's office. Tied on video monitor showing Reese in the interrogation room.
It's just him and me.
I'm gonna drink because I was muted. Why didn't you bring any weapons? Something more advanced. Don't you have ray guns? Show me a piece of future technology.
You go naked. Something about the field generated by a living organism. Nothing dead will go.
Why?
I didn't build the fucking thing.
Okay, but this cyborg, if it's metal.
Surrounded by living tissue.
Of course. This is great stuff. I can make a career out of this guy. You see how clever this part is? How it doesn't require a shred of proof? Most paranoid delusionals are intricate, but this is brilliant. Why were the 2 other women killed?
Most records were lost in the war. Skynet knew nothing, almost nothing about Connor's mother. Her name, where she lived, just the city. No scanner pictures. The Terminator, just being systematic. You've heard enough. Decide. Are you going to release me?
I'm afraid that's not up to me.
Why am I talking to you? Get out.
I can help you.
Who is an authority here? You still don't get it. He'll find her. That's what he does. All he does. You can't stop him. He'll wade through you, reach down her throat, and pull her fucking heart out.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Reese is crazy.
In technical terminology, he's a loon.
But
Traxler hands her something that looks like umpire.
Sarah,
Drink.
this is Sarah, this is body armor. Our tech guys wear it. I'll stop a 12 gauge round. This other individual must have one under his coat.
But what about him punching through the windshield?
Probably on PCB, broke every bone in his hand and won't feel it for hours. There was this guy once that...
Well, why don't you just stretch out here and get some sleep? Take your mom a good hour to get here from Redlands.
I can't sleep.
Go ahead. You're safe. There's 30 cops in this building.
Okay.
Police department foyer. Silverman can be seen through a glass partition next to the bulletproof glass booth encasing the night desk sergeant's counter. The sergeant hits a button and there is a loud buzz clack. The electric bolt on the security door opens and Silverman steps out. As he exits the station, he passes Terminator just coming in the front door. He glances at the pale apparition in cap and dark wraparounds, but goes on. Terminator approaches the desk sergeant, who barely glances up when he speaks.
I'm a friend of Sarah Connor. I was here. Can I see her, please?
You can't see her. She's making a statement.
Where is she?
Look, it's going to be a while. You want to wait? There's a bench.
Terminator steps back, scanning the booth, the electric door, the rooms beyond.
I'll be back.
Drink all your drink.
And that is the finish your drink line.
Finish it all.
This is
Oh my God.
Fucking insane.
Wow.
I'm done.
Natalie is very impressive.
Who did we lose?
1 second, I gotta reload. Here we go.
I'm literally.
Oh
this
my
close.
God.
This is almost
See, that was
over.
smart.
I'll
to
be
position
back.
right by the refrigerator.
Oh, by the way, this is Terminator Vision.
Yes.
That's perfect. You know what? This seems like an appropriate time to remind people that if you would like to donate to After School All Stars, you can do that by clicking on the description of the video you're watching right now, or go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com, click on the donate tab. It'll take you directly to the After School All Stars donation portal. You can make any donation that you would like. Take a screenshot, send it to us, and we'll draw a winner for a prize pack that includes some Terminator Blu-rays and a Scripts Gone Wild mug that you can use to finish your drink like we just did.
Oh, shit.
Who is my daddy and what does he do?
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay, here we are.
I'm going to go refill my drink, but I'll be back.
Finish your
Does not
drink.
count.
No. It does count.
The desk sergeant is absorbed in paperwork, not watching as a pair of lights get brighter outside the doors. He glances up at the last second as the glare fully falls on him. Crash! Several cops and late-night loiterers scatter as a car smashes into the foyer. It blasts through the sergeant's booth, crushing him in the wreckage. Sarah, lying on the couch, jerks awake as the crash reverberates through the building. She sits up bleary-eyed. Through the hole in the splintered wall, we see Terminator leap out of the car, vault the hood, and smashing through the debris of the wall. Leaps to the corridor floor in a shower of plaster fragments. He brandishes the AR-180 like a pistol in one hand, shotgun in the other. Preceding him as he starts down the corridor, the two cops run into the hall, one carrying a cup of coffee. Terminator fires a burst from the assault rifle, and they are flung backwards in a spray of coffee and plaster. Sarah is alert now with growing alarm. The sound of gunfire is faint but unmistakable. Her expression shows the dawning uncertainty of what is happening. Terminator steps over the bodies of the two cops without breaking stride. Over his shoulder, moving with him as he walks down the hall, comes to a door, tries it, locked, kicks it in. A desk cop, drawing his gun, sprints for cover. Terminator raises the AR-180. In a computer-enhanced vision, we see the cop dash around a corner in slow motion and disappears behind the wall, and the animated outline of him is still visible. A probabilistic extrapolation of his motion. There is a target crosshair following the figure. The wall erupts with a volley of shots beside the running cop, and he is flung out of frame. Shots are echoing in the hallway as Traxler whips open the door, startling the hell out of Sarah.
Stay here.
He turns the locking knob and slams the door, leaving her alone. She flinches as more shots sound. Terminator rips the cover off the station's main electrical panel. He pulls loose the hose-like 440-volt incoming line and feeds it directly into the lingering circuit. All down the corridor, the overhead fluorescent units explode, showering sparking glass. Sarah's terror skyrockets when the ceiling lamp explodes and the office goes black. Through the smoke and emergency spotlights Terminator again, forward, inexorably. A door beside him opens. A cop fires, hitting him in the shoulder. Terminator fires straight arm with a 12-gauge without slowing, killing the cop. Then fires down the corridor with the assault rifle. Vukovic leaves the other detective to go guard Reese, who is still handcuffed to the chair.
Watch him!
The door closes. An instant later, a chair smashes over the detective's back just as he is returning towards the prisoner. Reese is on him, scrambling for the keys. Vukovic is running down the hall through smoke, and the wild strobing of electrical fires as Traxler steps out of the armory room. He tosses Vukovic an M16, and they run on. Terminator stops before another door. He blasts the lock with a shotgun, flings open the door, scanning, and moves on. He is hit twice, chest and leg. Firelight flickers from an office doorway as he passes. Sarah scrambles for a place to hide in the darkened room, but it's too tiny. Behind the desk, she crouches, unable to believe she is awakened in the same nightmare. The door splinters open and Terminator stands, guns raised. The cop fires from behind a desk. Terminator sprays the room, starts to reload. Traxler edges open the door and fires half a clip into Terminator's back. His eyes bulge as the intruder turns, slamming a clip into his rifle, and calmly fires 2 rounds. Vukovic drags Traxler's body back inside the room.
Ed!
Terminator moving forward, intent, medium on Sarah. Her teeth are chattering with fear as shots echo nearby, getting closer. The doorknob rattles and is tied from outside. She flinches as if slapped as shots shatter the lock. The door bangs open and a figure stands silhouetted in the smoky hallway, holding a pistol.
Sarah?
She scrambles out from beneath the desk and runs to him in the thickening smoke. Hangglide following Reese and Sarah as they cross the corridor and move through a series of offices, bumbling back towards the main entrance. Doubling back, not bumbling. This isn't a Sarah and Reese move rapidly through the smoke. Gunfire sounds nearby. They pass bodies.
Reese.
They find the lieutenant propped in a corner, dying. Reese bends toward him and Traxler holds out his .38 pistol.
Just keep her alive.
Reese snatches the gun and runs out. Traxler watches them go. Terminator runs through the smoky rooms. A fire is burning, lighting everything a flickering orange. He emerges onto a landing through a side entrance, follows his line of sight as he snaps the AR-180 to his shoulder. A brown Datsun tears away across the parking lot. Terminator aims carefully. He pulls the trigger. It clicks. Empty. Slowly, he lowers the scope sight from his eye and watches them go. Terminator limps down the steps from the landing and walks away as the fire spreads behind the windows of Division headquarters. The gas gauge is empty. The Datsun is stopped on the shoulder of a two-lane secondary road winding through the mountains north of L.A. Reese is fishing objects out of the car's trunk and handing them to Sarah, who holds a flashlight. He hands her a blanket, some road flares, and a first aid kit. Then he slams the trunk. Reaching through the side window, he turns the wheel and pushes the car off the shoulder over the embankment. Past Sarah and Reese as the car trundles down, crashing through the underbrush to disappear among the trees.
Let's get off the road.
They're in a drainage culvert now.
You cold?
Freezing.
Come here.
She sits behind him and they wrap their arms around each other.
Reese, you got a first name?
Kyle.
It'd be like if Rambo's name was like Trent.
Drew.
Rambo.
Kyle, what's it like when you go through time?
White light. Pain. Like being ripped inside out. Slowly. Like being born. Maybe.
You're wet. Oh my God.
I caught one.
You're wet. Oh my God.
I caught one back there.
Caught one? You mean you got shot?
Not bad.
We got to get you to a doctor.
Okay, forget it.
Forget it. Are you crazy? Let me see it. Oh, geez. Take this off.
See? Missed everything. Passed through the meat.
He's bloody as fuck, y'all.
Oh, this is going to make me puke. Talk about something.
What?
Just talk. Tell me about my son. Is he tall?
About my height. He has your... Damn. He has your eyes.
What's he like?
You trust him? He's got that strength. You'd die in a second for John.
Well, at least I know what to name him. I don't suppose you know who the father is, so I don't tell him to get lost when I meet him.
John never said much about him. He dies. Even before the war, he didn't...
Stop. I don't want to know. Hold still. Wait, so it was John that ordered you here?
I volunteered.
You volunteered?
It was an honor. A chance to meet the legend. Sarah Connor.
Drink.
Who taught her son to fight, organize, prepare. From when he was a kid, when you were in hiding, before the war.
Wait, you talk about things I haven't done yet in the past tense. It's making me crazy. I can't think. Are you sure you've got the right person?
I'm sure.
Come on, me, the mother of the future. Am I tough, organized? I can't even balance my checkbook. I cry when I see a cat that's been run over, and I don't even like cats. I'm a dog person.
Ah! No, it's okay. It's better tight.
And anyway, what do I know about guerrilla warfare?
You'll learn.
Look, Reese, I didn't ask for this honor, and I don't want it. Any of it.
John gave me a message for you. Made me memorize it. Sarah.
Drink.
This is the message. Sarah.
Drink.
Thank you for your courage through the dark years. I can't help you with what you must soon face, except to tell you that the future is not set. There is no such thing as fate, but what we make for ourselves by our own will. You must be stronger than you imagine you can be. You must survive, or I will never exist. That's all.
Sarah stares at him as the enormity of it all becomes real to her. Reese moves his arm, testing the bandage, and the YouTube audience has decided that Chad needs to take a drink. Continue.
Good field dressing.
You like it? It's my first.
He rebuttons his shirt and they return to the warmth-conserving embrace. Sarah gazes at the entrance into the night.
Sleep. It'll be light soon.
Okay. Talk some more.
About what?
About where you're from.
All right. You stay down by day, but at night you can move around. The HKs use infrared, so you still have to watch out, but they're not too bright. John taught us ways to dust them. That's when the infiltrators started to appear. The Terminators were the newest and the worst.
During his monologue, we have panned into the darkness outside, leaving a black frame. A rotor roar fades up, and we're back at the city ruins, 2029. All sorts of devastation. Reese is scanning the devastation. He's shocked as shit. Looking around. He's on patrol. And then a sentry yells something out.
Terminator! Drink.
An innocuous rag-dressed man flips back his poncho to reveal a powerful plasma rifle. He opens fire. Reese runs towards the Terminator. Boom. Guns, fire, burning, bleeding. Impressions implode on him. Running feet, flashes, energy beams, screaming. Reese looks up. A figure looms above. A silhouette in the smoky, hellish glare. The Terminator. Its eyes glow red. The picture Reese has been looking at has fallen, forgotten. It catches fire and starts to curl. Before the image vanishes, we see that it is a picture of Sarah Connor. Back at the culvert, Reese, still holding her, lightly lifts her hair from her face. They're getting romantic a little bit. Sarah looks around, momentarily disoriented, and looks up at Reese.
I was dreaming about dogs.
We use them to spot Terminators.
Drink. Your world is pretty terrifying.
Let's get moving.
At a rest stop, a small service building at a deserted mountain turnout. The highway is visible nearby. Reese is attempting to hotwire an old pickup parked near the woods. Sarah is on a payphone out of Reese's line of sight around the corner of the building.
I know, Mom. This is the soonest I could. But I know, Mom. Mom, I can't talk long. No, I'm okay. I'm okay, really. I'm not supposed to be calling anyone, so just listen. I want you to pack up some stuff and go to the cabin for a few days. Just don't ask any questions. Just do it. Okay, look, I gotta get going. I gotta go. Bye-bye.
Sarah's been idly leafing through the directory. On a whim, she looks up something. She freezes for a moment when she finds the listing. Then, with a triumphant expression, she rips the page out of the book. On Reese, as Sarah runs up to him, the truck is not starting, and its battery gives up with a dying groan. She shows him the directory page, looking smug.
Look, I found it.
What's that?
That's where we're going.
Sarah's finger points to a listing which reads, Cyberdyne Systems Incorporated, 18244 El Camino Real.
That's it, isn't it? Cyberdyne Systems?
What about it?
Okay, didn't you say that they're going to develop this revolutionary new thing?
Molecular memory.
Whatever. They become the hotshot computer guys, so they get the job to build that Skynet thing for the government, right?
That's the way it was told to me?
Well, we're gonna uninvent the bastard. 86 it. We'll blow up the place, burn it down, something.
Tactically dangerous. We lay low.
Reese, think it through. We can prevent the war. Nobody else is going to do it. If we go to anybody official, we wind up back in jail, and then he's got us again. We have to do it ourselves.
That's not my mission.
Listen, understand, I'm not a military objective, Reese. I'm a person. You don't own me.
Let's go. Time to move out.
No, fuck you. Let go of me.
He jerks her arm free. He reaches for her again, but she outdistances him.
Sarah?
He dashes down a footpath among the trees, clutching her piece of paper. Reese follows her in the woods. Only a few yards away from the rest stop, the woods take over completely. She runs down the path. Reese tackles her from behind, and they fall together in the long spring grass. She struggles violently to get away.
Let go, bastard.
She gets one arm free and whacks him hard in the face. Reese reacts instinctively, leaping back in a defensive crouch. Sarah freezes when she sees the .357 in his hand.
Oh, that's real smart. Go on, shoot me. That's brilliant.
Reese is trembling as he lowers the gun. Sarah, too, is shaking with emotion. Tears roll down her cheeks and her voice cracks.
Jesus Christ, Reese. Can't you see I'm scared? I can't spend my life waiting for that thing to catch up with me, always looking over my shoulder, wondering if I left some tiny clue behind.
The gun slips from his fingers. His will seems to drain from him, and he sags to his knees.
Reese?
She crawls over to him. His eyes are closed. A tear meanders down his cheek.
Kyle?
I'm wrong here. I wasn't meant to see this. It's like some dream, this, and you. Also beautiful. It hurts, Sarah. More than death. Don't you understand? It's all gone.
No, we can change it, Kyle. We have to at least try. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. Right? Come on, let's go, kiddo. What do you say?
That seems like a disrespectful thing to do to Ginger, to just give someone else the kiddo name.
Yeah.
So close.
Sorry, Ginger.
Hasn't even been a day.
I know.
Damn. So
Now we're in the Terminator's hotel room, and I hoped he signed the hotel room Terminator. Terminator sits in his room with the blinds drawn tight, murky, claustrophobic, like the movie Twins, with knife slits of hot sunlight. Sitting on the edge of the bed, his appearance isn't improving. He is scanning Sarah's address book, turning a page every 2 seconds, his eyes tracking rapidly. His skin is waxy, white, bruised, gangrenous in places. He ignores the few flies crawling on his face. Showing Sarah's book. In microseconds, the handwritten entries are translated into CRT-type characters and displayed to one side of the screen. This updates instantly as the page is turned. In the hotel corridor, a middle-aged man with a torn T-shirt covering his paunch knocks on the door. He is wheeling a trash cart.
Hey, buddy, you got a dead cat in there or what?
Lots of cat references in this script.
Yes.
Terminator looks up. The digitized image pans to the door, and a logic flow diagram appears overlaid in color-coded words. It concludes with a list of potential appropriate responses. Yes, no, or what? Go away. Please come back later. Fuck you, asshole. The lights begin to flash and enlarges to fill the screen.
Fuck you, asshole.
Woo! The man shrugs and walks on down the hall. In the motel, now it's a motel, the two fugitives walk toward the... Oh, it is a different motel. It's a motel now. They can't afford a hotel like the Terminator can. The two fugitives walk toward the economy motel of the two-story park-by-the-door variety. Sarah turns to wave as the tractor-trailer pulls away noisily, heading back to the interstate. The driver answers her wave out the side window. Reese stops for a moment outside the motel office to pet a German shepherd sitting on the porch. The dog wags its tail and licks his hand. Reese opens the door and they go in. Reese pulls a crumpled wad of bills from his jeans and shows it to Sarah.
Is this enough?
Yes, and I don't want to know where you got it.
She turns to the desk clerk, a female version of the pawn shop lizard.
We need a room with a kitchen.
Kyle and Sarah enter the Spartan room.
God, I'm dying for a shower. You could use one too, and we better check that bandage.
Later. I'm going out for material. Keep this.
He means crafts. He hands her the .38 he took from Traxler. She takes it without thinking as he leaves and realizes that she has a loaded gun in her hand without the slightest idea of how to use it. She lays it gently on the dresser. As an afterthought, she turns it with one finger so that it is pointing the other way. Sarah moves the curtain slightly and looks outside. Reese walks away towards a commercial area visible down the road. Sarah's on the phone, her hair still wet from a shower. She sits on the bed with a towel wrapped around her.
No, Mom, I can't tell you where I am. I was told not to say.
But honey, I need to know where I can reach you or I'll be worried sick. It turns out I can't stay up here. The electricity's off and I don't know just where I'll be.
Okay, here's the number. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
It's 408-555-1439.
I got it.
14.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, I've got to go. I'm sorry. I can't tell you very much now, Mom. I mean, I've already told you pretty much everything. Anyway, so I love you.
Peg comes to a table, smashed plates, spilled coffee, a spatter of blood, a phone. It follows the phone cord onto Terminator in close-up as he continues in a perfect simulation of her mother's voice.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Sarah hangs up the phone, vaguely disturbed. Terminator rapidly dials the number Sarah gave.
I'm sorry. I'm going to drink.
Yeah, I was just a drink. I was waiting
My screen
for
went
it.
blank for a second. Hello? Tell me the address here.
Motel room. Several grocery bags covering the counter beside the hot plate in the tiny kitchen. Reese's hands split one open and its contents spill out. Sarah looks through Reese's haul.
Okay, let's see. Corn syrup, ammonia, mothballs. Okay, what's for dinner?
Plastique.
There are also boxes of shotgun shells, road flares, tape, scissors, pans, a strainer, and many other odd utensils, substances, and chemicals.
What's that?
God damn it. Nitroglycerin, basically. Bit more stable. I learned how to make it when I was a kid.
Sarah looks a bit stricken. In the Chevy Camaro, the dashlight illuminates Terminator from behind as he drives through the night. He looks like death, not unlike he did in the movie Eraser. His left eye glows a faint red in the darkness. In the motel room, a heartwarming domestic scene. Sarah and Kyle have pulled the dresser out to use as a work table. Pans, packages, and bottles clutter the kitchen. The table between them are 8 10-inch lengths of plumber's pipe, threaded each end. Kyle is showing Sarah how to tamp the high-explosive putty into the pipe bombs and seal them shut.
Make sure there's none on the threads, like this. Now screw the end cap on. Very gently.
Oh, you must have had a fun childhood.
That's good. Now 7 more like that while I make fuses.
I was thinking there's so much I've got to show you when we get through this. It's mind-boggling, the possibilities. Disneyland, the beach, movies, matinees with popcorn and foot-long hot dogs.
Hot dogs?
All the things you've never seen and done. I mean, you're here, but wherever you go and whatever you touch, you bring the war with you.
My whole life has been combat.
I want it to be over for you.
Not possible.
I want it to be over for me, too. I feel like I slipped over some invisible line that I'm in your world now. Everything's the same, but I see it differently. It's like there's you and me and him, but nobody else can understand or help or even touch us.
Reese looks up finally and catches her gaze. He reaches out for her hand, and it seems he may be taking it to comfort her, but he turns her wrist to read her watch.
We'll head out at 0200. That gives you 4 hours to sleep if you want. I'll finish.
The bombs are neatly ranked, finished. A nylon satchel lies nearby, and the mess is cleaned up. Reese is sitting in a silent vigil at the window. The room is dark, lit only by a streetlight outside, and Sarah's asleep on the bed. Reese sits cross-legged, shirtless, his body held rigid, the image of discipline. The .38 is held loosely in one hand on his lap, and there is a fresh bandage on his shoulder. Sarah wakes up and goes to him in the darkness. He looks at her for a moment as she sits beside him, then back outside.
He'll find us, won't he?
Probably. Sarah, if I get zeroed...
Don't say that.
If I do, you'll have to get away. Disappear without a trace. Different country, different name, everything. In case they send another one.
It'll never be over, will it? Look at me. I'm shaking. Some legend, huh? You must be pretty disappointed.
No, I'm not.
Kyle, the women in your time, what were they like?
Good fighters.
Oh, that's not what I mean. Was there someone special?
Someone?
A girl. You know.
No, never.
I'm sorry.
Sarah studies him for a moment. She's sitting slightly behind him, and she puts her hands on his shoulders and back, tracing the lines of his scars with her fingertips.
So much pain.
Pain can be controlled. You disconnect it.
And so you feel nothing.
Better that way.
Oh, Kyle.
Kyle takes a long, slow breath before he answers, and when he does, his voice has a new quality, an unfamiliar tenderness.
John Connor gave me a picture of you once. I never knew why. It was very old, torn, faded. You were young, like you are now. You weren't smiling, just a little sad. I always wondered what you were thinking at that second.
He closes his eyes, reaches towards her. His fingertips trace the contour of her nose, chin, and cheeks.
I memorized every line, every curve.
He opens his eyes.
Sarah, I came across time for you. I love you. I always have.
What a pickup line. Sarah is quietly overwhelmed. Reese looks away.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
Kyle.
She leans forward and kisses Kyle. Kyle's face is frozen, a mask. She continues tenderly. Kyle begins to respond. The dam breaks and he holds her in a tight, trembling embrace, clinging to her like life itself. Kyle picks her up and carries her to the bed. She kisses his neck and chest, tracing his scars with her lips. He unbuttons her blouse very slowly. Sarah guides his powerful hands over her. Sarah, as she grimaces in divine agony. Reese, his face wrapped, his hand clutching the pillow as if to kill it. It is explosive, torrential, a confluence of fate and will. Sarah and Reese in each other's arms, lying across his chest. She surveys his face as his eyes close drowsily. She begins running her fingertips along the sides of his chest, under his arms. Reese looks down, puzzled.
What are you doing?
It's called tickling. You'll beg for mercy in a second.
I don't think I like this.
You're not supposed to.
Now Reese is becoming desperate. A grimace spreads across his face. It becomes a grin. Then he's laughing, trying to escape, but she won't let him. And they collapse, laughing together. Ha ha ha. Sarah gazes at his grin, a glimpse of the Reese that might have been in another life. Their grins fade. They gaze at each other, stretching a moment that can't last. It's Sarah that pulls away.
Come on, let's get going.
Reese is shirtless, tying his shoes. Sarah's nearby, pulling on her top, and Reese freezes at the sound of dogs barking. Reese is off the bed in an instant, crouched, tense, eyes alert. Feral is over. Feral as ever.
Listen to the dogs.
In cyborg vision, we see the German Shepherd barking furiously, lunging repeatedly towards camera on its chain. The nearest vehicle parked in front is a large pickup truck with a dirt bike lashed in the bed, seen prominently as we pass. The POV approaches the door, number 14. The door is kicked open. Moving inside, the assault rifle sprays the room, exploding the indistinct forms on the bed. Staccato glare. Approaching the bed, nothing there but the shredded remains of sheets and pillows. The POV shifts to the back door, which is ajar, and moves towards it. Through the door, revealing an empty yard. Reese is under the dash, playing with the wires. Sarah lies on the seat, clutching the nylon satchel, which bulges with the explosive charges. Terminator spins at the sound of the truck engine catching. He runs the length of the suite through the front door. He raises the assault rifle. Reese's pickup lunges towards him, slams him back against the wall as it screeches in an arc across the sidewalk, destroying a soft drink machine where the tabs are kept. The pickup roars across the parking lot. Terminator rolls to his feet, picks up the fallen assault rifle, and runs with powerful strides to his motorcycle. He leaps on, starting it in one motion, and shoots across the parking lot with the front wheel barely on the ground, just like he did in True Lies. Reese slides the truck onto the highway and guns it, burying the throttle. Traffic and light, a few 18-wheelers. The truck stops out at 110, and he holds it. Behind them, a single headlight grows brighter, closing. Low wide-angle preceding Terminator on the bike. He is tucked, getting as much speed as possible out of the 750. As he gains on the camera, filling frame, he unslings the assault rifle, raises it against the Windstrom in a one-handed pistol grip. Reese motions Sarah to keep her head down. Instead, she slips open the satchel and hands him a pipe charge. She pushes in the cigarette lighter on the dash, and Reese glances in the mirror. Terminator closes on the pickup. They weave together like a slalom between 18-wheelers and other vehicles, and Terminator fires. Bullets rake the pickup's tailgate, shatter the rear window and the windshield. Sarah's buffeted as Reese fights to control the skidding truck.
Which places with me?
She slides over him while he keeps the hammer down. Reese is out the side window to the waist, watching the fuse burn low on the charge in his hand, and he hurls it. It bounces in front of Terminator's bike and explodes. The bike skids through the smoke, and Reese lights and throws a second bomb. Another explosion. Terminator swerves, comes out of it with a shattered fairing. A broken headlight, a third explosion. A car near Terminator's bike spins out of control, and Terminator fires. Bullets take the pickup. The windows are blown out. The side mirror explodes, and Reese is hit. Drops the charge in his hand unlit, and Sarah screams and Wee's barely in control. Sarah reaches across, pulls Reese's limp body back inside. He slumps on the seat, moaning, stunned.
Oh, Kyle. Oh, God.
He has a bullet in the chest, and Sarah feels all hope recede. Terminator crosses behind the truck, coming up on Sarah's side. He fires. Sarah shrieks as the doorpost next to her head clangs with hits. The short burst empties the gun. It clatters to the pavement. A moment later, discarded. Terminator draws a 38 and takes aim. Sarah screams, hits the brakes hard, cranks the wheel. Glass behind her explodes with gunfire. Swerving vicariously, the truck slams the bike, sending it flying into a guardrail. Terminator goes over to the handlebars at 100 miles an hour. Sarah flaps the wheel, losing control of the slewing pickup. Terminator in the bike flips over the center guardrail, and he hits the pavement, tumbling, rolling, sliding with a shattering screech, and spraying sheets of sparks as fresh strips away and steel screams on concrete. The pickup swap ends violently, smashing into the guardrail. Terminator slips to a stop in the middle of the oncoming lanes. Sarah is slammed hard as the truck grinds to a stop against the guardrail, and she checks Kyle. He is barely conscious. She tunes a look at the body of Terminator in the opposing traffic lane. After a long moment, Terminator slowly rolls over and sits up. He rises into frame, a mass of blood, clothing and skin in tatters. Tractor trailer gasoline tanker smashes him down and under with a metallic crash. Terminator rolls, clattering, and the mass blurs above him. He ricochets between the pavement and the speeding undercarriage until a stray bounce flings him into the rear suspension. He clings with inhuman strength. Sarah at the door of the pickup. She raises one fist in the air triumphantly.
All right.
The stunned driver hits the brakes. His partner grabs his arm.
Don't stop.
I have to, man.
No. Sarah watches the truck roll on without leaving a body in its wake. She feels a premonitory dread. Beneath the braking semi, Terminator crawls upside down, hand over hand, like a human fly towards camera. The left eye glows like a coal in the dark. As the pavement stops beneath him, he drops off and rolls out from under the truck. The driver looks around in astonishment as this door is ripped open. Terminator appears, a grisly apparition, flings the driver out and takes his place behind the wheel. Ignoring the terrified partner, he examines the controls. In digitized cyborg vision, we see an abstract of the instruments. The shift lever is extended graphically down into a three-dimensional schematic of the transmission. Analytical data prints out rapid fire. Sarah watches in growing horror as the door to the distant tractor cab opens and the partner leaps out, hits the ground running, and the nightmare refuses to end. The pickup is out of action. Flat tire. She searches the cab frantically for the keys of the motorcycles and finds them above the sun visor. Sarah leaps into the bed of the pickup and attacks the motorcycle strap downs frantically. The tanker roars, begins to move, and swings in a ponderous arc. Panting with terror, she rolls the bike off the truck. It crashes on its side and she falls on it painfully. The tanker tears through the dividing fence, turns towards her, straining until she cries out involuntarily, and she lifts the bike upright, kicks the engine over. Low angle of the face of the tractor trailer, the retaining wall blurring by. Terminator's red eye can be seen behind the windshield, the truck bellows shifting up through the gears, and Sarah kicks again and again, crying out with each stroke again and again, furiously.
Come on, run, you.
Sarah looks down. Detail! 2 high-velocity rifle bullets have shattered the engine case. The bike is useless. She looks up. The truck is bearing down on the background, a mountain of metal. She drags Reese, stumbling from the cab of the ruined pickup, and hauls him over the retaining wall. Low angle as the tanker demolishes the pickup a moment later, tossing it aside like a beer can. Sarah and Cal scramble under a locked gate and run across the storage lot of a modern factory complex of low buildings. Cal struggles to keep up, holding the satchel. Like a juggernaut, the truck follows, smashing through the parked cars and a chain-link security gate, demolishing the guard shack. They enter an alley-like space between 2 buildings, and Cal is fumbling to open the satchel. Over Terminator's shoulders, looking down at a tiny figure below, running in the headlight's glare, it is Sarah, alone. Reese crouches in a trash dumpster, which is sandwiched between the wall and the tanker. There are only inches of clearance as the trailers pass by. He lights a pipe charge, jumps up, and wedges it under the tank cylinder of the second trailer. He ducks as it rolls on. Sarah is stumbling in the glare of the truck's lights. Terminator through the windshield, his eyes glowing, and Reese is huddled in the dumpster. There's a lot of chasing here, guys. It's a whole lot of Terminator chasing Kyle and Sarah. She rounds the corner, staggering, searching. She sees Kyle crumpled face down near the dumpster, sheltered from the heat by its mass. She drags him away, rolls him over. His head lolls. He opens his eyes.
Sarah. Right.
No.
We did it, Kyle. We got it.
Yeah, they think they killed him, and they probably did because there aren't any more Terminator movies. They hold the embrace, silhouetted by the diminishing flames. It would be a wonderful final image, except that goddamn Terminator staggers out of the blaze behind him. Terminator, the last flakes of flesh are falling from him like burning leaves. His gleaming structure is revealed in all its intricacy. No longer a he, but an it. It looks like death, rendered in steel, a chrome skeleton with hydraulic muscles, just like Hercules in New York, and tendons of flexible cable.
Hercules goes bananas.
In the sockets of the metal skull, the eyeballs swivel with a whir of tiny servos, a whir. Both glowing red now, it turns slowly and fixes its gaze directly into camera. Sarah chokes on a scream, crams knuckles in her mouth as the machine takes a step towards them, dragging one malfunctioning leg. It's still alive, y'all. Sarah and Kyle run down the corridor through a door which they close and lock. They move off down a cross corridor. The Terminator blasts the door off its hinges and staggers through. It starts after their receding figures as they round the corner at the end of the hall. Racked, exhausted, they stumble through a maze of partitioned office cubicles. The Terminator catches sight of them through a floor-to-ceiling window. It makes an unhesitating right turn through the glass. Sarah and Kyle look back at the sound of shattering glass, and following Sarah and Kyle as they reach a heavy fire door and go through. Kyle slides the bolts on the metal fire door. Behind them are acres of machinery and darkness. Silence. Crash! The Terminator hits the door from the far side. Hinges squeal. Kyle goes to a large breaker panel and opens it. Starts throwing switches. Just throwing fucking switches. Behind him, machines start up one by one.
What are you doing?
Cover our footsteps.
He sags, sliding down the wall. She pulls him up, half carries him the maze of machines. The dark gallery is filled with whirring, clanking shapes. Chattering conveying belts and improbable mechanisms lashing mindlessly. They're in a Roomba factory. Reese slips to the floor and Sarah is no longer able to support him.
Leave me here.
Sarah crouches beside him, grabs his shirt front, and yells over the machines.
I'm not leaving you anywhere, you jerk. Haven't you figured it out? Kyle John is our son. There isn't going to be anybody else. I don't want anybody else. Listen to me. Move, Reese. Let's go, soldier. Move your ass.
He drags him to his feet and he staggers on. Hinges shatter and the fire door is hurled inward. The Terminator scans the darkness. Kyle and Sarah move through the machines. The cyborg steps forward, scanning methodically. Sarah and Kyle move in a crouch through the treacherous tangle of pipes and machinery, and Kyle picks up a length of pipe to use as a weapon. As they climb out onto a catwalk between the two huge mechanisms, Sarah climbs over an innocuous control panel. Her knee inadvertently hits a red push button. With a roar, the stamping plate of a hydraulic press slams down an inch from her hand. Startled, she stumbles to the catwalk. The Terminator's eyes swivel as he hears the single non-rhythmic sound. Kyle and Sarah run to the end of the catwalk, but find the door is locked.
Come on!
They double back to escape the cul-de-sac, and the Terminator steps in front of them, cutting them off.
Run!
He pushes Sarah roughly and she stumbles away. Kyle raises the pipe with his good arm as the Terminator advances.
Run, damn it!
She hesitates, backing away. The cyborg swings at Reese, still clings on steel. Kyle strikes and parries, but is sledgehammered back. Kyle lands in a heap, smashed against the stanchion of the railing, which prevented him falling into the factory floor 20 feet below. Sarah turns and runs. Kyle's face streaked with blood, pressed to the floor as a metal foot clangs down. His eyes snap open. Sarah falls, gets up, runs on. The Terminator draws back for a death blow. The Kyle rolls with the last of his strength, raising the pipe bomb he has been cradling. He jams it between two hydraulic cylinders just beneath the cyborg's armored ribcage, then rolls off the catwalk. Terminator has an instant to react, reaching for the bomb before it explodes. Sarah is pitched forward by the blast and slides on the floor, slams up against the wall. A withering spray of shrapnel strafes the wall around her. Pieces of shrapnel clatter throughout the factory, raining down. Sarah very still. She winces and opens her eyes and slowly looks up. As the smoke clears, the Terminator is gone. Unrecognizable clumps of burning debris lie scattered about. Looking down through the grating floor, she sees Kyle's body. Kyle's eyes are half open, still. His face is peaceful. Sarah looks down. Protruding from her right thigh is a twisted piece of metal, shrapnel, part of the cyborg. She pulls it out, grimacing, and her leg is broken. It is a long time before she can gather the will to move. She starts to crawl toward Reese's body as she passes a large clump of debris. The debris as it rolls over suddenly, now recognizable as the Terminator's head and arms, with half of the shattered torso, trailing wires and twisted metal. It lunges for her. Sarah wants to scream this time from the depths of her soul, but there is no scream, only a dry, shivering sob. The Terminator drags itself, scraping over the floor, steel fingers clutching. Sarah is shaking and whimpering as she scrabbles away, clawing in agony. Sarah flops from the catwalk onto the moving strip as she is carried in the intricate lattice of equipment. Sarah rolls off weakly before going into a seat of sorting rollers. It crawls after her, dragging its body. It tracks her unerringly, eyes glowing. Sarah moves deeper into the dark, clashing jungle of machinery. The Terminator clambers through after her. She catches sight of something, a familiar control box. She drags herself to it. It spots her wedged in a tiny crawl space. No way out. It crawls the last few feet, eyes red in the dark. Hypnotized, Sarah watches the Terminator come towards her. She is jammed in a corner. Sarah's hand reaches around to the front of the control panel, seeing the red button. Her wet fingers fill the button, her steel hand reaching out, her face inexplicably calm, eyes steady in that infinite instant. She clenches her teeth to keep from screaming as she waits. The Terminator's hand reaches for her throat to crush the life out of her and end its long mission.
You're terminated, fucker.
As her bloody finger stabs it down, the cyborg has been led into the maw of the hydraulic press. The stamping plate thunders down. Tons of mechanical pressure flatten the Terminator's head and body like tinfoil. The press screams, jamming solid. Lightning snaps out in one brief blaze, leaping to surrounding machinery, arcing to Sarah's wristwatch. All the Terminator's energy is released in 1 second. A pinpoint of red light dwindles and goes out. Sarah shivering uncontrollably. The steel fingers are frozen an inch from her throat. She can only stare as water runs over her. The side rail of an ambulance gurney, now, in the factory. Sarah's eyes are closed on as she moves out of frame. The gurney being rolled by 2 attendants past the side of the last explosion. Several police officers are picking through the debris. As it is wheeled out, the gurney, holding on 2 factory employees, one, the plant manager, bends to examine a piece of the cyborg lying at the base of the hydraulic press. A cop notices this.
Look, I told you not to touch anything until we're done. You got that?
Sure thing, officer.
He stands and palms a small object to his assistant. They step around the corner.
What is it?
It's a microcomputer chassis. I've never seen stuff like this anywhere.
Weird. Jap stuff, maybe?
We're sorry, Japanese people.
Get out of sight and get it down to R&D Monday. First thing.
Good idea.
Building. Sarah's being lifted in the ambulance. She closes her eyes, drifting into consciousness. Tilt up as the ambulance doors close. The sign above the entrance of the building reads, Cyberdyne Systems. In the Land Rover cassette recorder, the center capstans of a tape turning.
hardest thing is deciding what I should tell you and what not to. Well, anyway, I've got a while yet before you're old enough to understand the tapes. They're more for me at this point to help get it all straight.
Sarah's in a Land Rover at a tiny gas station.
Should I tell you about your father? Oh, that's a tough one. Will it change your decision to send him here? Knowing. But if you don't send Kyle, you could never be. God, you can go crazy thinking about all of this. I suppose I'll tell you. I know I'm not. And maybe it'll be enough if you know that in a few hours we had together, we loved a lifetime's worth.
There's a sound nearby and Sarah jumps. It's a small Mexican boy that snapped her picture with an instant camera. He holds it out to her, speaking rapid Spanish. There you go, Miguel.
Muy bonita.
Bam.
Oh, are you telling me to be the Mexican boy? No, I'm not doing that.
Is there a Mexican boy? Wait, who's the attendant?
Attendant needs a drink. I guess it's not me, but I can.
Charla, why don't you do it, Charla?
Yes.
Okay. He says you're very beautiful, Senora, and he is ashamed to ask $5 American for this picture. But if he does not, his father will beat him.
That's a pretty good hustle, kid. 4. Cuatro.
Ending on a really dark note there. The boy takes her $4 and she watches the snapshot develop. It is a good photograph of her, the wind slightly ruffling her hair, expression thoughtful, slightly sad. We recognize it as the one Reese carried in 2029. She slips it into her shirt pocket.
I don't know how to say this. 1,300. $15 American.
As she pays him, distant thunder rolls. The boy yells something in Spanish as he runs off.
What did he say?
There's a storm coming in.
Sarah gazes at the thunderheads building up out over the desert, and her heat lightning pulses in their depths.
I know.
Camera cranes up as she pulls away, driving across the flat desert on a ribbon of highway. A brilliant flash crescendos from horizon to horizon, out at the rim of the world. And now we take a quick break and we do Terminator 2.
Yes. So, hey, Billy Ray. So, like, how does this compare to Fast and the Furious in terms of being almost no dialogue and all action?
I think it was less than I think Fast and the Furious was worse. I think Fast and the Furious is all just fucking car races.
Oh God.
I was reminded of that for sure.
Well, you don't get a lot, but then you get these long 20-page scenes of like exposition with Kyle and Sarah, which is like, tell me more about your life.
Bizarre, yeah. There's no even flow of dialogue. Yeah.
How would everybody if you're ranking the Terminator films, where would you rank this read?
I would rank this as the first one that came out, Billy Ray.
I personally think this read is better than the last 3 Terminator movies, but
yeah,
that's just me.
I do want to see. This is me being. I'm being very sincere here. I want to see Terminator, the same film, but just digitally take out Michael Biehn and replace with Nick Crawford, and it will be so amazing.
Yeah, so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Way to show him how that part is supposed to be acted.
Yeah. Just
get
all
him
my
to
main
that guy.
characters replaced. Yeah. Including Rampage.
I mean, every movie he's been in can be summed up as Michael Biehn tries. Tries really hard.
Depending on the movie.
Well, you know, if you just sat through that and you enjoyed it, and are hopefully drunk at home, now that you're drunk, you can donate even more money to After School All Stars, which is the charity that we just did this read for. And again, they're an amazing organization. They were founded by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they do amazing work for kids all across the country. You can donate by clicking on the description in this video, or go to scriptsgonewild.com, click on the donate tab. It'll take you right to their website where you can donate straight through their portal. We would appreciate it. Take a snapshot or screenshot, send it to us. We'll draw someone out and you can win a Terminator prize pack that also includes a Scripts Gone Wild mug, which those mugs are in demand. You know, we sold out of our first batch pretty quickly. They are in demand mugs. Yeah, so you'll get one of those. And we think that that would be awesome. And I'm going to pimp out a couple things really quickly. December 2nd, we're actually taking a break for 2 weeks for the holidays. We're going to be back on December 2nd with what we are calling 90s Tiger Beat Extravaganza, where we are doing episodes of Saved by the Bell, Salute Your Shorts, and Family Matters. That's part of a 6-part series that we're doing throughout 2021. Each one of those is benefiting the Trans Women of Color Collective. And we're super excited about that, and we hope you'll tune in for that. And then we've got an awesome Christmas lineup on December 9th. We've got Trading Places coming up. On December 16th, we're doing a reading of it's kind of crazy, Eric Freeman, who played Caldwell in the movie Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Mm-hmm. For those who've seen that, he wrote an unofficial, unproduced sequel to that movie called Unhinged. And we're going to be reading that script with him, reprising his role for the first time in like 33 years. So that's really exciting. If anybody wants to be part of it, email me.
I'm so in.
Yes, Billy Ray. Yes.
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 That one's going to be amazing. And then we're closing out 2020 with reads of It's a Wonderful Life and The Poseidon Adventure. That's coming up, and then we'll dive into next year with like The Faculty and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But that's what's coming up. Thank you, everybody, for reading. I'm going to introduce our readers one more time because they were all incredible. We've got Chad Michael Collins.
Thank you.
Erin Cummings. Bechir Sylvain. Edward Hong.
Yeah.
Nick Crawford. Erik Altemus. Charla Bocchicchio. Woo! Galen Howard. Miguel Rodriguez.
Yes, Miguel.
Thanks, everyone.
Natalie Nicole Dressel.
Thank you.
And Kate Harold.
I'm sorry I lost y'all.
Oh, it happens.
You're forgiven.
That's the sort of thing that happens to Sarah Connor.
Yes, it's true.
Before
we end the live feed,
if she lives in West Virginia, that's what happens. Yeah, it's called DSL.
If you expected the computer to be on your side, then you haven't read this script.
Oh God!
It was Skynet.
Skynet got me.
Skynet. Before we go, everybody, I'm going to count to 3. We're going to take a quick little screenshot like we do. So on the count of 3, and you can pose at home too, even though you won't be in the picture.
No.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And now everybody say one final line at the same time to close the read.
I'll be back.
Give me your